Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 7 of Bombcast. I'm your host, dkdynamite, and we're joined today by our lovely co-host, Fajardi, and we have our special guest, the man himself, the Gaming Revolution. How you doing, man?
What's up, everyone?
What's going on?
To the stream.
And as you guys can probably notice, I'm the only one with a face cam today, but it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna wing it. Appreciate everybody that's here. And with quite a few
goes.
Wait, say it again?
I have to fit in with all the operators hiding their faces.
Yeah, fair enough. And we have quite a few topics to go through today. So not only that, we also have a wonderful segment of Who Are These People? Quite a few juicy comments we're going to laugh at. So stay tuned for that. I'm also rocking the Who Are These People t-shirts, which are available in the link down below. And they're also pinned in the chat if anybody's interested. Very happy that we got that done. But first off, what's up with you, Matt? How's everything going content-wise? What are you working on? What's the vibe?
I'm a little bit behind right now with content. Obviously, season 3 dropped, and there wasn't really much because I mainly make zombies videos. Obviously, there wasn't really too much to talk about for zombies. There was a lot of Berlin stuff and stuff about the first one, and I was going to make videos about that. I even recorded one about the Berlin map, and then kind of just fell behind on it. So I'll probably get around to talking about all that stuff sometime in the future. But right now, my next video is just talking about the origins of Warzone and the backstory and how it was originally intended to be set in Afghanistan and stuff like that. And there's a juicy laptop sponsor in there as well.
Juicy sponsor. There you go, man. Quick ad insert. Somebody said, is that Black Ops Amazing? No, it's actually not. It's actually the man himself who, I want to say, introduced everybody to some banger storyline videos for zombies back in the day, man. Absolute Chad. That shirt looks sexy. Petition to get Treyarch to add Pack a Punch for Fist. Okay, that's that'll be interesting. Funny comments there, but yeah, looking forward to that Warzone video, man. I think the post that Activision put out about the origins of Warzone didn't get much attention for some reason. I noticed that nobody really made a video talking about it, so I guess it'll be one of the only ones that it's going to be covering that. That'll be interesting.
But I mean, the hard thing about content is like, you don't really know. It's hard to set limits for yourself because you just want to do everything.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of the hard thing because there's always stuff coming out. You know, you could be making like 3 videos a day without a shadow of a doubt. And it's kind of just hard to not, I guess, overwork yourself because especially with the way YouTube is, the more you're putting out, the more you will get paid, especially if you're doing news or informational Call of Duty stuff that's all based around, you know, the search results, people looking up the latest info.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff is the more the better. If you're doing more gameplay stuff, you know, just a video a day suffices. But even then, you know, you might be getting less views per video, but like, you know, overall you'll be getting more views because there'll be a higher chance of one of them banging.
Yeah. YouTube's been really interesting lately. I think you said it yourself on Twitter. We're like, look, season 2, as much as I enjoyed it, was a bit weird because it looks like views were down across the board for a lot of channels, and there really wasn't an explanation as to why. You can't even say it's lack of content because not that season 3 has that much more content in season 2, but views seem to really pick up towards the end of season 2, beginning of season 3. I mean, YouTube's weird like that sometimes. Maybe it was a YouTube issue, maybe it wasn't the Call of Duty community, but I definitely see little spurts of interest, you know, spike up and down every once in a while for Call of Duty content, but there's never really a way to tell, you know, what's going on. And sometimes, you know, if a video underperforms, I'm like, wait, was it my title? Was it the thumbnail? Was it the topic in the video itself? Was it the time I posted it? Could it have been lack of interest in the topic? Like, so many questions with what exactly the issue could have been. But the problem with YouTube as a full-time job is you almost never know what the issue could have been. It's kind of just like, hey, deal with it. Move on and work on the next video. I mean, that's the wonders of doing YouTube, and you've probably known that a lot longer than I have with checking the real time, man. That's that's always interesting with analytics.
Gotta have it on refresh.
Fun fact, man, and I was there when you did it. I think it was like 2-3 years ago. You put up a video. I think within about 15 seconds of putting it up, you were like, "It's doing shit," and I'm like, "Bro, how do you know it's doing shit? It's been like less than a minute." It's like, how can you judge that so soon, man? I usually give it at least like 10-20 minutes to see if, you know, it's getting some traction, but I never forgot that.
What you do is you send someone else's video that's been up for 10 minutes saying it's flopping.
Yeah, send someone else's stuff. Yeah, and it's like, dude, you never know, man. I mean, sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. I mean, things like, what about what you said with YouTube Shorts, which I'll go off on a tangent about that in a second, but YouTube Shorts, you would even show me, right? They'd underperform worse than hell for like a week, and then within 3 months they have 300K, and I'm like, where do these views come from? Like, I don't get how shorts work. But you've been doing good with them
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah. I mean, one of them recently bangs, the one about Captain Price's father. It's over, let me have a look. It's on over 300K now, but it didn't
Yeah,
bang until over a month
way
after it
over a month.
released. So
Yeah, and you know what? Shorts are cool. The thing is, I would do them if they didn't get ranked with the other videos. Not that it's a problem, but I feel like when it's ranked against the other videos, it's kind of silly if a short is a 1 out of 10, right? And it's
yeah,
and the other thing too is like if you do YouTube a full time job, shorts don't really earn anything. And it's not that it's all about money. It's not about that, but it's like there's short content. They don't take too long to make anyway. But is it really worth the time all that much? Could it hurt your channel more than help you? People have suggested that over the past couple of months that their regular videos underperform because of shorts doing too well. I don't know, so it's been risky.
I don't think so, but
Yeah, I'm a little paranoid with things like that. But if they worked like stories where there's a separate tab for them that wasn't ranked with the other actual videos, then I probably would do them. But maybe one day I'll dip my feet into that and see how it goes. But I wasn't a huge fan of TikTok anyway, so I was never really big about doing YouTube Shorts. But
yeah.
the first topic I had written down was about the mid-season event soon. So on the roadmap of season 3, there is a mid-season event planned out. What do you think that is? I wanted to get your thoughts on this. You haven't really mentioned it too much in your videos, but what are your thoughts on that?
Was it called anything, or did it just say event?
It just says an event, but there is a picture of broken and shattered glass towards.
Well, they keep referencing when worlds collide, which I have to assume is the fact that the Black Ops Cold War and the Modern Warfare storyline is colliding. I can't help but feel like they say there's no multiverse or anything, but like there's no real way to explain everything that's going on without a multiverse.
Yeah,
Like it seems
it's
like
a bit
maybe
much.
Warzone or Verdansk could simultaneously exist in Modern Warfare and Cold War, but like the storylines, there's just so many inconsistencies. They really have just dug themselves into a hole.
Oh yeah,
Um,
easily.
it like I don't know, like, do we just take everything that's happened in Warzone, just not at face value? But then which parts do we take as at face value?
Yeah,
Which parts are going to affect the next game?
right.
It's kind
Now,
of like the whole zombie stuff doesn't make sense because there's no Ethereum. The zombies also have different colored eyes. Why are they Nazi zombies? Like, so many things just don't make sense. Is that going to be tying into zombies in the next Modern Warfare?
right.
Like, because I'm guessing zombies might escape, and maybe the climax to that storyline is going to be them escaping to Verdansk.
Yeah,
It could
could
be
actually
like
be
some
that.
sort of cliffhanger,
Right.
but
I'm
or it
just
could be
I'm just not a fan of getting so messy with this because Blackout. If you look back towards Blackouts 4, Blackout was one thing where we're like, all right, it's kind of confusing, but I get what they're going for. It kind of made sense, to an extent,
well
but
with Blackout. At least it was like wasn't it like not well? It wasn't a simulation, but it was like the
it
characters were
w-
like
it was kind of a
clones, weren't they, or
simulation.
something?
Yeah, it was kind of a simulation where they were essentially testing the battlegrounds of who was the best of the best, and then whoever was the best, essentially whoever got victory royale in Blackout, would be recruited by, I think it was, I forgot Mason's granddaughter's name already.
Savannah?
Savannah, yeah, Savannah Mason. Pretty sure the correction
Wait,
there.
so was it a simulation or was it real? I
I
can't
think it was
remember.
a simulation of who the best fighter was, and she would then recruit the simulated
I thought it
characters.
wasn't. I
I
thought it
thought
was like.
yeah,
I thought it wasn't though.
that's how confusing it is. We
Mm.
can't even answer the question.
I can't
But
remember. It's been so long.
yeah, no,
And
it's one of those things where it's like, all right, at least that we're able to kind of put it in words. But with Warzone, trying to tie in campaign, multiplayer, zombies. I mean, hey, if they make it work one day, sure. But what do you think about the cinematic though? I know you re-uploaded it at the end of the Rebirth event. So we saw, it looks like a part of the hospital, and there's a red door in there. You think we're gonna go into the red door in the mid-season update and then find Adler all brainwashed? I mean, what do you think is gonna happen with that?
Well, what doesn't make any sense is since we have the Hunting for Adler event and we get his skin,
Yeah,
doesn't that already imply that
we
via
found
that
him.
event we are rescuing him?
Yeah, it almost. Fajardi said that too recently. He's like, wait, doesn't that imply that we already found him? Because what's the skin called,
Yeah.
Fajardi? Is it rescued and
It's called Tortured and Rescued. And the interesting thing about it is he has gun holsters on him, which he wouldn't have had if he was
yeah,
still kidnapped. Like he has gun holsters and guns on him. So it's weird.
that is kind of strange. Yeah, I don't really know how to
I
explain
think
that one
what's
either.
happening in Cold War Verdansk shouldn't be taken that verbatim. Like, I feel like because they've got,
Yeah.
well, they're adding these red doors as a teleportation system. So that just shows there's some sort of hallucination, weird brainwashing stuff going on.
Right.
So the thing is, though,
Easily.
the note on Sanatorium says that they're going to be brainwashing like thousands of people in Verdansk.
Right.
So what if just all our operators right now are brainwashed? Like none of that is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if that could somehow explain the Modern Warfare characters being there. What if they're like other people that just think they're those people? But that
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
I was almost speculating too because I brought it up in my video last night. I'm like, what about that leaked audio about the numbers, right? All the air operators saying the numbers, Mason. What do they mean? People suggested to me in the comments, thankfully, which I didn't know, is that there could be a store bundle dropping at some point that has a finishing move. When we do that finishing move, the character will say the numbers, Mason. What do they mean? And I'm like, why would that be a store bundle? I mean, I kind of get how that would work, but I feel like that's such a plot point that could work with this midseason event. If Mason gets introduced as an operator at some point as a surprise, he could be the one that tries to help Adler because Mason's been through this before, but then something goes wrong, we have to kill Adler. I'm not sure, but I think if anybody's an expert in MK Ultra and this brainwashing, it's probably Mason. So I was hoping that numbers audio could lead to some cool event. It reminds me of like in Blackout when the characters would talk to each other a little bit, which we don't really have in Warzone. There is no really interaction between our characters without us doing something. So I mean, the audio could mean something, but again, that's been sitting in the files for what I think since the summer, and it's almost been a year. The audio for the nuke event, the audio for so many things were sitting in the files for months and months and months before we actually saw them in game. So for all we know, it could be nothing. I mean, it could literally be nothing. It could be a store bundle. It could be a finishing move. It's a bit underwhelming, but what do you think about that audio? Do you think it means anything at all, or do you think it's cap?
I'm not really sure. Remember when everyone was posting about the numbers audio and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that just something the operators normally say? It's not even tied to anything?
Well, they don't say it in game right now. That audio's been sitting there and has never been seen in game once. That's the problem.
I don't know. That's really weird because you would have thought that should. I mean, I don't know. I was pretty disappointed by the whole nuke thing. It didn't really make any sense because it basically had no storyline. Like everyone was expecting some sort of plot twist. Maybe Zakiev or someone was gonna come back or be involved, or it's going to have some sort of time travel. But just
I know, and
nothing really happened. Like it's just a flashback, I guess.
Yeah, quick shout out to Friendly Machine in chat. He said, "Can't believe Richtofen is pregnant with Reznov's cousin." Hashtag Richtofen is pregnant. Look at this, man. Appreciate you being here, James. Somebody asked who Fajardi is. Yeah, co-host here on the podcast. He's here every week with me, and yes, he does do the beautiful thumbnails you see on the channel. But yeah, when it comes to the nuke event, though, without going off on too much of a tangent, I want to hear your thoughts now from your experience. The nuke event, the rebirth part. What happened, man? What are your what are your honest opinions on it without being too vulgar?
Well, for the destruction of Verdansk Part 1, I booted up Warzone like over 30 minutes before it had even started and was put in a queue, and it took me like over 3 hours to get out of a queue and get into a game. I mean, luckily they extended it by a couple hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So I managed to get in like the last 20 minutes before it ended.
Right.
But like all that happened was like you just turned into a zombie when you died, and then the game just ended. And then when you got this 40-second cutscene, like the cutscene looked good, but once again it had no real like proper storyline, no steps, nothing really interesting. Then we went to Rebirth Night, which was a bit cool, but I was expecting us to like solve puzzles or something on there. You could see the nuke in the background, which looked cool, and I don't know, it was kind of a bit weird. And then the second event wasn't really any better. Like we just literally
I actually can't believe that they literally pulled a Haunting of Verdansk with sunlight this time. It wasn't at night. You essentially play Haunting of Verdansk. It teases you with a potential exfil if you're a human and you make it to the end. There is no exfil. And then all of a sudden, after like 20 seconds, the cutscene plays. And I can't, and we went over this last week, so I won't go off too much about it, but for you, for example, right, you couldn't even play. The server queue was so bad for so many players, like it didn't even make sense. And I'm like,
and I jumped into a lobby before you guys had even started, so what was that about?
I don't know if it's a region thing, a platform thing. I don't know what could have changed the outcome of that. But then you look at the cutscene, and I'm like, I still feel like we're at square one, where we don't really know what's going on. Things are just happening. Because Season 2 dropped with the outbreak in Verdansk. We had zombies at the shipwreck. And then it started moving from spot to spot. The number never changed past 5%. All of a sudden, it goes to 33, and then 66, and 99. It just, all of a sudden, just things started happening. And I'm like, regardless of the story explanation of this, it felt off considering there was a cutscene. What was it during season 6 of Modern Warfare where they de-arm the nuke and they kill Mr. Z? And I'm like, what was the point of that if all of a sudden this just happened and the nuke happened anyway? It's like nothing felt right. And the irony with all of it was that none of this that happened had anything to do with Cold War at all. It's all Modern Warfare story, right? The actual story with Cold War is with Season 3, 84 Verdansk. That's actually Cold War related. This Nuke Zombies event crap that had nothing to do with Cold War whatsoever, which is hilarious. So it's like, okay, that's a cliffhanger for Modern Warfare 2, I guess. What do you really want to call this? I'm like, I don't know. It just felt weird, man. But do you understand what exactly went down with this, or are you kind of just like whatever? What do you actually think about the story implications of this nuke?
Well, what makes no sense is that the actual nuke itself came from somewhere else that wasn't even Rebirth Island. So people now think it's like Urzikstan or whatever. That doesn't make any sense. And then just the whole event was just so atrocious. Like they had so long to plan for it. It doesn't make any sense. And apparently the reason why they made it like so simple was because they wanted it to be replayable. But what's the point when it was only there for an hour or two?
Yeah, and I'm like replayable. I'm like
really
playing as a human wasn't fun. You had shit shotguns, no rifles.
Well, here's the thing. So they're not actually proper live events because they don't do it like Fortnite, where it's a live event happening at the same time for everyone. They just do it as a playlist, which should make it easier for them to create something cool.
Yeah,
and just the event was just like it was so generic. It was
James
like,
is in chat. Friendly Machine, what I want to know, honestly, because I really don't know the answer to this. Has Fortnite ever had really severe server queue issues where people miss live events, or has that never been a thing?
They do all the time. It's probably not as bad as
probably not as bad as War. Yeah, I'm curious if it's not as bad as Warzone. But I'm like, wait, we launched the nuke from Rebirth at night for some reason.
But with Fortnite, I think they give like more specific times and a schedule, whereas with this event, no one really had any idea what the hell was going on. They released some weird teaser video with like 4 different times. No one knew what these times
the schedule.
were
Can I
for.
pull up the schedule? The schedule itself, it was very confusing. I'm like, I get what it was saying.
And part two wasn't even. It was basically like it was happening at the same time. So it was like 0.5 and part 1.
Bro, even Call of Duty partners didn't know what was going on. There were people out there streaming, part 2 starting in 40 minutes, and there was no part 2. Like, I think all that happened was Rebirth Night came out, but there was no Easter egg with it. That Easter egg dropped like the night after when Season 3 was releasing. I'm like, COD partners didn't know what was going on. That's how crazy this marketing was for this event. I'm like, what is the confusion here? The other thing, though, like I was saying,
people were defending it and acting like it was so awesome. When
it
almost every single like idea or theory that me or you or anyone else in the community was coming up with was like a million times better than that, and that took us like 10 minutes. Like,
and it wasn't even
off of the top of my head.
Yeah, it wasn't even to toot our own horn or anything, but you and I had discussions. We made videos.
Anyone could have come up with something.
Anybody, I had a quick idea like this. I was like, all right, real quickly, maybe do a couple of steps, like the Cold War reveal, 4 or 5 steps. Open up a box, find the door, but whatever. Do 4 or 5 steps. Zombies start taking over. We all have to run to the bunkers.
Go into the bunkers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go to the bunkers, and then as we're in the bunkers, maybe we can see through a peephole the nuke go off, so you can kind of see it in game. And then a flash of white light, and then we open the bunker doors. The map is fucking nuked. Game ends. Cliffhanger for Modern Warfare 2. Done. And then it spawns you into Verdansk 84. I just came up with an idea that probably takes no effort at all, and I'm like, and that's not even the coolest idea. We've had cooler ones that we talked about, but I'm like,
well, here is my idea. This is what I thought was going to happen. So I thought, we were going to have some steps like that, and then maybe we would hide in the bunker or hide in the stadium, and we actually see the nukes hitting the map.
Right.
Because I guess we did see it from Rebirth Island in part 2, but like literally all that happened is there was you couldn't actually see the explosion. Just suddenly there was a random explosion in the distance. You couldn't really see it like blow up the map. And also the explosion kind of just stood there like a static image instead of getting bigger. Like that's not how a nuke works. And it would completely obliterate the whole area. Rebirth Island would also be exposed to mass amounts of radiation. So just the whole logistics of everything doesn't make any sense. And assuming we're going to nuke the map again in 1984, which seems like what's going to happen.
That's ridiculous.
What?
Well,
how are we going to nuke it again?
It was destroyed during the Cold War. Like
that's actually
at the end of Modern Warfare's campaign, it says Verdansk was destroyed during the Cold War.
Yeah, and rebuilt
after the Cold War.
But it looks like it's being rebuilt now, though.
I think
it looks like it's under construction right now. Though.
It's not under construction. So basically, the reason why it looks like it's under construction is because the stadium is a completely different stadium to the one So the city's based off of Donetsk in Ukraine, and there was a stadium that was like more hollow and shallowed out, like the one we have right now, in the 1980s, and then that was taken down, and a completely new one was rebuilt in the early 2000s, and that's the one that was in the modern day Verdansk. So we're going to see Verdansk get destroyed again and then get rebuilt. But why would they rebuild the same buildings? I was expecting, like, if we were to see 1980s Verdansk, it would be completely different. And I think that was the plan. I think they didn't originally plan to have it exactly the same, because I think the season 3 cutscene or season 4, I can't even remember which cutscene, Price was like, Verdansk was destroyed during the Cold War, and all that was there were bunkers and the Gulag. So really, nothing else should be the same.
Right, and then,
and I don't know. I guess they kept it the same due to gameplay reasons.
I mean, gameplay reasons I get, but then I still have that theory that they might have told COD partners, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of Verdansk," and then they didn't like that, so that their Activision's like, "All right, let's not do it." My other theory was that the fire-based player count may not have been great in Cold War, so like, why are we gonna put a Ural Mountains Warzone map if Verdansk is doing great? People aren't playing Fireteam. It's kind of a risk. We might actually ruin Warzone by removing Verdansk. So maybe again, the casual community dictated exactly what the future of Verdansk was, and that's why we still see essentially the same map with a couple new locations. But it's like, wait, we nuke Verdansk from a nighttime rebirth map. When the nuke hits Verdansk a couple minutes later, it's daytime, and I'm like, I'm still confused on that. They also get rid of Rebirth Night the day after.
Who even came up with these ideas in the boardroom?
But there's such simple plot holes here, such simple continuity errors. I'm like, how is that not looked at? I'm like, they've had a year to plan this event. Not trying to sound negative, but I'm just still confused with some of these decisions that were made. I don't get it, man.
This was probably done ages ago as well, or at least like the idea.
Yeah,
what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
Like, they haven't really explained why the zombies are here at all. Like, there was some intel about Requiem, and they were finding out about Requiem. There was no real expansion on that. Nothing was going on.
They could have went the easy route of just saying, "Oh, Dark Ether anomalies and all this dimension cracking bullshit, and now all the Modern Warfare characters are in 1984." They could have done something. They could have went a Dr. Monty route, just like a fucking what's the word I'm thinking of? Just a simple ploy, a simple plot device they could have threw in to explain a lot of these inconsistencies. I'm like, that's the way that I think they would have went, but for some reason they just decided not to.
Also, there was that data mined audio from the Haunting of Verdansk event that was going to be
with an Easter egg.
I wonder if they planned for it to happen during the Haunting of Verdansk event. Like, I feel like that was the original intention. Zombies spread. We would have nuked it then and there.
Yeah, that would have made so much more sense, man.
Here's what makes no sense. So the map was completely overrun with zombies in the Haunting of Verdansk. We thought that wasn't canon. We cleared it canon.
Yeah.
So how did we clear the whole map?
Jigsaw in the first place.
But then they came back on a random boat, and like
there was apparently sitting at sea
who came
dormant.
Up with this? It's really annoying me. And people say, "Well, it's Warzone, it's Battle Royale, it's just for fun. You shouldn't really take it too seriously." But what's annoying is because it is a part of the zombie storyline now, and because it is a part of the Black Ops and the Modern Warfare campaign storyline, it's all intertwined. Anything they mess up in Warzone is going to affect everything else, and like I just don't. I don't understand it.
Well, Fajani, what were you saying about that Reznov theory the other day? If you want to go into that again, and you actually sparked my interest in it. That I brought it up in a video last night. Remember what you said about Adler being brainwashed, being different from Mason when he was brainwashed? Oh, you lost connection. His internet might have went out. He might join from his phone. He'll come back. But what were you? Perfect timing though. What were you saying about the Reznov brainwashing again? If you want to go into that real quick.
I don't know exactly in the detail I went to the other day, but like I said, I'm pretty sure I might have said it on the last podcast, if this is what you're referring to anyway.
Yeah.
That when Mason was brainwashed, he was sabotaged by Reznov. That was like the whole thing, and that's why he was probably he could actually fight it a little bit.
Yeah.
With Adler being brainwashed, it's the first time we're going to see within a main character a successful uninterrupted brainwash of a character. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that leads into the story of Warzone and Black Ops Cold War. And I personally think it's gonna end in the demise of Adler. through the hands of Mason. That's wow. I think that's going to happen. But yeah, a lot of cool things. I do think Verdansk 84 is a good experience to play. I've been playing it a lot the past week, and I could definitely say it. I personally like it more than the original Verdansk. My favorite landing place is Array. I really like Array.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's a ton of fun, and I'm like, well, you mean Summit, by the way, right? Or the Array itself, the Array.
I mean the Duga area.
The Duga area, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Matt's back. There you go. His computer crashed.
What were you saying?
No, we were just talking about the Verdansk 84 revamp. I'm like, yeah, the thing about it is like I feel the same about Verdansk, and I feel a little bit better about it because now it's more Cold War themed, and obviously something I'll play with friends.
It definitely is better, but at the same time, it feels like it's not enough. Really.
I'm kind of in the same position I was. I'm like, all right, I'll play it a little bit more with friends, but it's not going to entice my interest to go solo or to grind as much as I do Rebirth. I'm just like, all right, I'm looking forward to Fireteam Elimination, man, which is dropping in less than a month's time for Black Ops Cold War. Being able to play Battle Royale on all the Fireteam maps. That's kind of where I'm at right now with my Battle Royale craving.
Issues with all the textures like being really low quality. A lot of the time, especially when
I've seen issues.
Fly over the map, everything's really low quality. For
my characters are like bugged out. Yeah, they look really low res, low textured. I've seen that. I've definitely had that issue a couple of times, which was a bit off, but.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's like the map loads fine. I mean, the gameplay's all right, but yeah. Aside from Warzone, though, you know what? I think that the midseason update, as I said in yesterday's video, I'm like, look, they've kind of blown their load with a lot of the content that was on the roadmap. So it kind of has me thinking that the Season 3 Reloaded roadmap might have a lot more surprises, than we've gotten in a while, things that weren't announced yet. Season 2, they dropped quite a few things at the beginning of the season, but they did save a good portion of it for the Reloaded update. The Reloaded update for Season 2 didn't have many bonuses that weren't announced, but I think this season we could end up seeing something a bit different, whether it's operators, maps. What are your thoughts on the roadmap, though, for Season 3 so far, Matt? How are you feeling about it?
Well, there's not really much going on. Like, we kind of know what's probably going to come in Season 3 Reloaded, unless there's surprises. I mean, at least in terms of zombies, like, people don't really seem very satisfied right now because all we're supposedly getting is the Easter egg, I guess, which I feel like is going to really change up Outbreak, though, because in order for them to add it's not just going to be an Easter egg that will be added. It will probably completely reinvent Outbreak, because in order for them to get an Easter egg working, there's going to be things that will be added, like I guess this mega barrel is probably going to end up getting added. That's going to change it up. I mean, even recently with them adding the die upgrades, that makes for a huge difference.
Oh yeah, they play really well, and I'm like, I think the Outbreak Easter egg has me kind of a little curious about how the steps will work specifically, because I'm like, all right, how many more maps will they add to the Outbreak rotation? Probably a good 4 or 5 more if I had to guess. But then when that happens, how do the steps of the Easter egg work? Do you have to be on specific locations to do certain steps, or can you do any of the steps anywhere? I'm a bit optimistic.
You can't even complete the Easter egg right now or something, or it just gets longer. But then why? Like,
I don't know. And then is there a cutscene? It's like a lot of questions with how they're gonna make the Easter egg work.
If they're gonna add the Easter egg, they should just add all the Euro maps that are left at once. Actually, that might be what they do, because I mean, think about it. I mean, if they're going to be adding more Outbreak maps that are not part of the Euro Mountains, then surely they just want to get rid of all the Euro Mountains maps so they can then release these other maps later.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of questions with that. And I'm like, all right, well, will this be the first and last main quest they add to Outbreak, or will another main quest be added in the future? Because that's kind of what I said, I think it was last week. I'm like, wait, once they drop this main quest, will all focus of the zombies department go to traditional survival maps, so Berlin and DLC 4, or whatever the maps are after that? Or will they still put out Outbreak content as we expect? Will they end up adding another quest like in 2-3 months' time? Or is this a one and done? Like, there's a lot of questions with how the Outbreak support.
There's going to be more quests. If they're going to be supporting, from what it sounds like, Outbreak for years, then, I mean, we might end up seeing the Victus maps, or we might end up seeing something else. I'm really unsure about what's the future of zombies for this game when we don't know if there's going to be more content next year.
Yeah,
there will be some sort of content, but we don't know if we're going to see actual maps.
Right.
And I guess that's all dependent on, if there's zombies in the next game. I know we did see Zombies Chronicles when Infinite Warfare Zombies was out, but since Call of Duty seems like it's a lot more popular now, if there were zombies in the next game, it would probably do better than prior. other installments of zombies from the other developers, just because
Right.
there's a lot more people playing the game now. Now that the storyline's also all connected, that'll also bring more players in. And I feel like if they are going to do zombies, they're going to keep the general mechanics the same as Cold War zombies. I feel like they've perfected it. And if it is going to be in the same storyline, it's probably going to, as we're saying, be the exact same mechanics, the same perks.
Right.
All of that stuff is probably going to carry over. Maybe they could even carry over the crystal tiers and stuff like that. I wonder whether they're going to add more tiers in the future, because right now, there's quite a lot. How more OP can they make us?
Right.
I don't know if they maybe should have added, tier 4 and then tier 5 at a later date instead of just like dropping them all at once, especially if they're not going to release any more. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. The future of zombies right now is very uncertain because we really don't know what's left.
Right.
We know the Berlin map is coming, probably season 4, which is, what is it, July? What date is it again?
It's June 15th, 16th. I think that's the math that we went with. But
June 15th.
I had a topic. I had a topic written down, but we'll just go through it now since we kind of touched on it naturally. I was thinking, you know what? If you look back at Black Ops 3, the gap between Black Ops 3 and 4 was bigger than the gap between Black Ops 4 and Cold War. Therefore, Black Ops 3 was able to get a year 2 and year 3 of little content updates, new weapons, mini operations, multiplayer maps, and of course Zombies Chronicles. So because the gap from Cold War to Treyarch's next game is looking like it's going to be another 3 solid years, 2023, or 2.5 years.
Black Ops 3 got so much more content was because it was being played so much.
Oh yeah, the player base too.
Yeah. The main COD.
Right.
I don't think Cold War is going to retain that player base. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, no,
it seems to be quite a lot of.
Yeah, I definitely think it's also player base determined, right? If they're going to continue updating Cold War, sure, that's one thing. But with Treyarch having a big gap from one game to the next, unlike the one they had for BO4 to Cold War, it gives them more time to say, all right, we have a little bit of time. We have a couple of extra people at the studio that could just throw out, XYZ, a new region of Outbreak, a new multiplayer map, a couple of new weapons, a party game mode or two. But then you talk about actual zombies content. If COD 2021 doesn't have a zombies mode, then, which it might, but if it doesn't, easy opportunity for Treyarch to step in and say, yeah, we'll still drop a couple of maps here and there. If they have the Victus maps added to Outbreak, I think it's best to have them in a separate playlist aside from the regions we have now in Outbreak. Have like a 3-region playlist of Transit Diaries Buried, or have them as traditional maps, however they want to do it. But the fact that Treyarch's next game is so far away, it gives Kohler an opportunity to still drop some updates, if they're able to over the next year and a half, maybe. That's just kind of an idea that I had written down. But
I mean, I just think zombies is going to be in the next game because of all this Nazi zombie stuff. It makes sense.
Yeah,
the fact that there's Nazis in Warzone, and the fact that, like, since we now know Verdansk is right next to the Ural Mountains, that means literally Outbreak is happening off in the distance.
You could even have Verdansk Outbreak at some point if they wanted to.
I don't
That's what's
see why
crazy.
They don't do that.
Right.
Like, I get that it's not made in that engine. They're gonna have to port things over, but like that's a map that's ready done. And they could, I guess they would have to segregate it off again.
But would that annoy people though? Because people are like, "Oh, Verdansk plays better on the Warzone engine, looks like shit, or plays like shit on Cold War." People would probably say that, even though it's not true. But I'm sure that Activision might be like, "Let's not split the community a little bit, and let's not cause some, negativity about the map being on a different engine." I don't know. It's just a
the fact
side
that
note.
the Outbreak is happening so close means that it can expand to Verdansk.
Yeah.
And if we are going to be unleashing these Nazis, they're probably going to spread to Outbreak. What if we actually unleash the Nazis during the Outbreak Easter egg, and then that sets up the Berlin map?
There you go. Somebody in chat, I believe his name is. Let me pull this up.
No, there's all the stuff with the first one, which is insane.
Yeah, somebody said FGVE42 was saying that, quote unquote, and making fun of the fact that it was said that Black Ops Cold War would have the biggest DLC season ever, the biggest Black Ops content ever, and it does. The thing is, he's probably saying that from a perspective of somebody that only plays one mode in the game, which you were able to do back then, in my opinion. Back during Black Ops 3 and other previous Call of Duties, if you just focused on multiplayer or zombies or whatever, you were able to do that because of the amount of content being poured into each of those modes. But now I would say the content is a little more on the thin side for all modes together, which is why they encourage you to play Call of Duty as a complete package. They want you to play multiplayer, zombies, wars. They want you to play everything. That's why there's cross progression with the ranking system. Yes, you could technically focus on just multiplayer, just zombies, just Warzone, sure. But when you complain about 6v6 content or lack of zombies maps, I get it. You're talking from a perspective of somebody that may have focused on one of those modes back in the day, but you just can't do that anymore. The series has evolved to a new level where they don't want you to just play one of the modes in the game now. They want you to play everything. So the whole argument about, oh, there aren't that many 6v6 maps, there aren't that many zombies maps. It's like, well, if Modern Warfare wasn't as successful last year, we probably wouldn't have seen a change that we did to how content is produced for all modes at once. That's kind of my take on lack of quote-unquote content in the game. But the season just dropped, and I think there's quite a bit across the board for everything. You know, if zombies is your thing, multiplayer is your thing, that's kind of my take on the amount of content right now. But what do you think, Matt, about in terms of content? You know, what do you think about the output for zombies, output for multiplayer? Is it enough, or do you think there should be more with these seasons? How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I guess the issue is that you know, they're trying to diversify the content. So if you enjoy multiplayer, now there's not just 6v6 you can play. You can play gunfight, you can play fire team, and it's the same for zombies. Now you can play outbreak as well. But the issue is then you have these large portions of the community that just play one thing and they just want content for one thing. So on face value, it looks like there's not really much there when there actually is. It's just that these particular people don't touch the other pieces of content. They just stick to, you know, the thing that they love. Or
who are these people, man? Yeah. I
yeah,
get
because
that.
there is a lot of content in the game. I mean, you think about how long it would have taken to create the Full Your Mountains map.
Right.
That alone is like the amount of work of like 20, 30 maps, or if not more, you know, if you look at the size of it and everything.
Right.
But, you know, because like a fire team map is much bigger than a 6v6 map. It probably took more work.
Right.
So there's definitely more content in the game. It's just that there's not as much content for specific niches, like I don't know, survival zombies or, you know, 6v6 multiplayer.
Right.
I do think that Outbreak should have different mode variants because it does feel like a bit empty. Like I was playing it a bit the other day, and like especially on the lower rounds, it is very empty, and you know it does take time to power through them. I guess now you can skip the rounds by meleeing or shooting the terminal.
Yeah.
But so you can speed faster now. The issue with that is then the rounds get a bit too difficult without your weapons being good enough. So that's a bit of an issue. So it's great that you can speed through it now, but you know it comes at a risk, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think the issue with Outbreak is it does take a while to get set up, and I wish you could just start straight up, you know, on round 5. Like I just it just takes too long to just get into it. And you know it's more suited for, I guess, multiplayer playing with friends and other people. But then do people have time dedicated so they can just spend, you know, a few hours to grind it out? And I guess it's good that you can now exfil, which is great, but you know, to get all of those good crystal tiers, you need to get higher up. And
somebody said, what about Outbreak Cranked? I mean, that would probably play interesting. I mean, I don't know how the warping would work.
Why did they remove Cranked? And you know they're going to be removing Onslaught Containment.
They better not, bro. I'm like, there's no reason to. I mean, there's literally no reason to. That's Majority's favorite mode, by the way. Don't
well,
say
they tweeted out being like,
don't tell them that.
A lot of people like it, so we're going to be keeping it for a bit longer. Just leave it. I don't get it.
But what I don't get about that, you know, I understand. I can get more of Crank being an LTM, but Onslaught Containment is just being able to play the mode on the gunfight maps. So it's like, why is that an LTM?
Never remove content like ever.
Yeah, that doesn't
like,
really.
Fair enough if you know, I don't know, like the Jingle Hells mode, it was themed around
it's
Christmas.
a holiday
even
theme.
Then,
leave it in private games.
Then just keep it in.
Yeah, leave it in private games.
Why not just leave it? Like zombies is not something that
the excuse excuse back then was, we don't want to have too many LTMs and multiplayer zombies because, you know, it'll split the player base.
Multiplayer game. You can play with other people, but the majority of people
but it's we also have crossplay now. We have crossplay now, the biggest player base we've ever seen across the board for Cold War, for Warzone, Modern Warfare. So it's like, is that really an excuse anymore? That, you know, we don't split the player base. How are you splitting it? There's already 3 active games at one time. It's like, what?
Cranked wasn't that great, but it wasn't worth removing. Like it
was something to hop into. It was something to kill time with. It wasn't. It wasn't a miserable game mode. I think I had fun here and there whenever you had the right setup. But
I just don't. You know, I don't really understand the whole idea of removing stuff. Like, is it to create make it seem special? Like you need to get in quick, otherwise it's gonna go.
Right.
But like, surely if the gameplay is good enough,
Marketing tactic.
you shouldn't have to trick people into thinking it's some sort of limited
Tricking
time
people.
special edition thing. Well, that's
Right.
the thing. Like, it's the same with when people sell like merch and they do it in limited amounts and stuff.
I thought that was
You
more
know.
because it costs money to keep merch up. If it's not on Teespring, if it's on like other sites out there, it costs money. So they're like, oh, instead of paying X amount a month.
Well, it's kind of a bit of both. They do
Yeah,
limited
I
edition
guess.
things, so then they can charge more for it because, it's like a one-time thing. If you miss out, you won't be able to get it
Right.
again.
I had
And
a
know that
yeah, I had
works the
a
best for merch.
I had a website. It did cost money to keep up. Well, it didn't cost very much to keep up. And essentially, I mean, the website we had built was pretty interesting. I mean, the merch was there. We had like a Zombies Uno edition, which still exists. We'll have to play it again one day on stream. I had a cool site going. Many of you guys in chat might remember it. It was dkdynamite1.com. I had the premise.
Activision came in.
And I still don't get what happened because I had Primus and Ultimus merch, which you can actually find, or I'm sorry, is it Primus, Ultimus, and Victus? It's all on Teespring, as you guys can see and link in the description. It's fine on Teespring, no issue with that, unless they didn't see it. But it was on the website at one point, and Activision didn't really reach out to say, hey, we don't like that. They reached out to the I think it was the. Oh, I forgot what the site was built from. It might have been WordPress. I can't remember what it was. Activision reached out to them to say they didn't want that merch up there, to take it down. But then before we could do anything, the site just got removed. And I'm like, we didn't get a chance to ask any questions or say, hey, what the hell? The site just got removed. And when I think we reached out to WordPress or whoever it was that owned the build of the site, they essentially told us, go F yourself. They had no answer for us. I'm like, I don't even know what happened. The site's just gone. So I had to move merch over to Teespring. And again, I wish there was more transparency with that because, yeah, bigger content creators selling posters and t-shirts. Some of them aren't even COD partners, but some of them are like, bigger Zombies channels selling posters, selling t-shirts. And I'm like, what criteria do you have to meet to sell things? Right? It's not about, trying to make money, trying to, scam. It's like, no. I just want to put together some cool designs, to represent the game, represent the storyline, and do some cool things for the community, do some stuff for the people that watch. And, you're just not able to do that for some reason. I don't really get that area of things, but
Yeah, it was custom artwork too.
it's also, yeah, because I believe the rules are as long as it's the original creation, you can't just pop a render onto a shirt or like just copy paste artwork from the game. If it's an original creation, original take on something, whether it's characters, something, you can sell the merch. That's always the explanation I've heard from other bigger channels, but I guess it just didn't work out for me that one time. But hey, I don't know what the deal is with that. None of us really understand what's going on with that. Again, an issue with Activision that I hope gets fixed one day is just a level of transparency with creators on what is and isn't okay, whether it's copyright strikes, whether it's merch, everything. Because some of us out there do it full time. So striking us down and taking down stuff that we're working hard on, that could affect our actual income. So it's like, hey, at least you can do is send us an email explaining what's going on, right? That's kind of the future I hope for in the future with Call of Duty content. But quick tangent aside. It's as Fajardi was saying, kind of going back to the comment I responded to, and you could say it better yourself, Fajardi. If the content that gets released with each season doesn't impress you, what actually will? So go ahead and take it away with your usual
That's
rant
true.
about that.
I still see comments to this day like, oh, I can't wait for Berlin to drop. They need to drop a new perk. They need to drop this. They need to drop that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I must say it every podcast now because obviously something's not changing. Or I don't expect anything to change, honestly, realistically. But you see all these comments from people, and you just got to think like look at what we have, and what can they realistically add that would make you happy again, or that would make you want to play the game. A new map wouldn't, and obviously a new map wouldn't cut it,
Right.
because I mean, people play Outbreak for a day and they say it's boring, and they would play the new map, they would say it was boring.
After the Easter egg solve, it's boring. That's what they will say. 100%.
Yeah, only after the Easter egg, only after they get to see the end cutscene. But I don't know, like if you're saying like a new perk would revitalize the game, I seriously think you need to look back and see where the roots of Zombies came from, because I don't think Black Ops 3 added a single new perk throughout the entire life cycle. So I don't get that logic at all.
And Matt, back me up here. Do you remember how bad the drought was in between Zetsubo and Gorod? And the reason why it wasn't just because of the wait for the next map. It was also because Zetsubo wasn't received well. Everyone was still playing the Eisendrache for like 6 months waiting for Gorod to come out. So again,
It's like one of my best moments because everyone like gave up and stopped posting much.
And
So I
take
was
advantage of that
posting.
post original. And that's how I felt about January of this past year. I think a bit of April now, as people gave up. They're like, oh, I need content to make videos. That's not how it goes, man. We talk about YouTube growth. You talk about keeping the channel
during
hot.
that time was also the Infinite Warfare reveal, and I covered that, and it did decent.
Yeah. So it's like when you keep the momentum going while other people aren't. Bless you. Could have muted, but no, it's all good. It's all good. Buddy Matt needs a stream deck, bro, for a quick push to talk, quick mute. Yeah. So if you look at how YouTube's momentum goes, right? When you keep a channel alive, especially for Call of Duty content, when other channels are giving up, that's an advantage you have, and that's how I felt about January with the Bart of Season 1. That's how I felt about most of April, the past couple of weeks, and I think most of May will be like that. If you just keep the momentum hot, you keep original content going, you just you keep the fire hot, then it helps your channel for the better. When everybody else gives up, then you take that to your advantage and you keep it going. But I definitely think in terms of content overall, it's like, look back at what was being offered back then. You had to wait 3 months for one map pack. There were no battle passes in between, weekly updates, weekly weapons and modes. We didn't have that back then. So it's either they weren't around back then to see that, or they're just ungrateful now. I don't know which one it is. It could be both.
I mean, it's just the thing is it's all about, I guess, natural progression. And stuff is constantly improving. So obviously a game that was released 10 years ago, no matter what it is, very few games hold up to today's standards.
True.
Yeah,
good point.
Because stuff is constantly improving, stuff is naturally supposed to be getting better. And
Right.
the more that stuff improves, the higher people's expectations
and the Fortnite effect too,
are.
wanting more.
So yeah, they might be getting more content, but because there's now more variety on the market, there's now like billions of games like out there, even free ones. You can find so many free games out there. You don't even need to pay money, and there's so much on the market now. 20 years ago there was a very limited niche amount of games that you could choose from. They never were supported after release. You'd get one game, not even any updates for it. If it released with bugs, you're stuck with that forever.
Gorad Krovi talking to you. I can't believe that.
It really is all about that natural progression, though, because that's just how psychology works. Like if something, you can't really be going backwards. I mean, I don't know.
But I just can't believe Gorad that was broken for, I think it was a full year, man. And I get why logistically. I think somebody explained it. I forgot who it was that said it, but yeah, they're limited to a certain amount of updates per year per Call of Duty game. And Black Ops 3 had exceeded the amount of updates that it had left for that year
because people were threatening to sue them or something.
Because technically, you had a case to stand on with the BBB. I think somebody actually pointed out, like, look, if you paid for the map for $15, you can't do the quest, which is probably why you bought the map. Then are you getting the value out of that map? Then are you getting what you paid for? Technically not. So
I don't think in any of the marketing they actually mentioned an Easter egg.
True, but it's a part of the experience that everybody knows about. So I guess there could have been some basis for arguing that in court. I don't know how that would have went, but
they never an
achievement though, right?
There is an achievement. Achievement was unobtainable. There you go. There you go.
Sure.
The achievement itself, I think, could have been the basis of the case. Not even the marketing. Literally one achievement. And by the way, quick tangent. Is anybody else upset like I am? There's no more achievements in zombies. Like, that actually breaks my heart, dude. I mean, not many people do them. I mean, probably 1%, but that was one of my favorite parts. Is whenever the achievements leak for a new zombies map, you get a kind of hint at the new wonder weapon, the quest, Tagger Toten. The vibes are hot with that. I remember I was in class, still in school at the time, and the Tagger Toten achievements leaked out. I love that energy, man. I'm really sad that Fireverse didn't have any achievements, and we probably won't ever get them again until an actual game
really
releases.
Weird because I tweeted out that I probably won't have any achievements, and everyone in my replies was like, "No, other games have done it. Why wouldn't they do it?"
And they stopped.
So
they actually
it is a bit weird. I mean, I guess it does spoil stuff, but that's not,
But it's like, come on, it's something to do as well. I mean, it's just content right there. But real quickly,
I guess they have the challenges now, but it's not the same.
It's not the same, yeah. Real quickly though, what are your thoughts on the new Easter eggs being solved right now in Black Ops 3 and 4? Black Ops 3 we had a cipher on Gorad Krovi that was cracked, teasing the Shadow Man's influence on Blood of the Dead, and then we had the 9 guitar rift solved because of a program or a script somebody came up with to solve the hidden quests in the game. How do you feel about those?
Well, for the cipher, it's really cool, and obviously if we had that then, it would have confirmed Mob of the Dead, which I guess we already had suspicions of because everyone kind of forgets that was the map where they had that cipher or whatever that was about the transit crew being in their cryogenic chambers.
Right.
So, and then we had the comic books release, later on. So that was our first, confirmation that they were in there. That's where we started.
Right.
I mean, I wonder, because obviously I had all those DLC 5 leaks before release, and in there was
Throwback.
about yeah, in there was about Blood of the Dead. I'd literally said, how it was going to be in between Gorod
Zetsubo and
Kurobi
Gorod.
and Zetsubo no Shima, and
Yeah.
we'd see the Victus characters and they would escape or whatever, and we would be playing as Primus. That's
Right.
literally what I said. So I wonder if like at some point they had planned to conclude the story in Black Ops 3, like not just Zombies Chronicles, they would have had Blood of the Dead and all of the other maps.
On the Black
Because at
Ops
the end of the
3
day,
game application, yeah. They
I
could have
mean, I
released the
wonder
maps
if they
there.
could have done it. I mean, because
Might have
they
worked.
had these chaos maps, right? So that could have been, I feel like maybe at one point Black Ops 4 was meant to be just chaos, and they were gonna somehow do a year 2 in Black Ops 3.
They could
But
have
stuff
done
ends.
something. Yeah, they could
I'm
have done
sure
something.
it was at least discussed at some point, and that could explain
Oh,
where these like inaccuracies for the leaks came from.
yeah.
But yeah, I think the cipher is really cool, and
I
mean,
look at
it's
that and
pretty,
I bring
it's
it up
pretty
in
crazy how people have been trying to solve these for so many years, and they're only just
yeah.
now solving them.
I bring it up in a
So
video
many
that I'm gonna
hours
post
of
later.
work.
I'm like, what I don't get about these ciphers though is that all right, it's cool to look back at them and say, oh wow, this was being teased all the way back then. Treyarch had this plan in mind. They had things written
It's just
years
too
in
late,
advance.
though.
But it's like then when you solve them years later, it's like it feels a bit redundant, and it also feels like if Treyarch was teasing something for the future back then, nobody was able to see it, so it almost again makes the ciphers redundant. You go looking at them today, it's like, okay, we know that the Mob of the Dead was it the AGFX whatever cipher, it was teasing Origins. It's like that's great that it's solved now. I'm glad that the community finally cracked it. It's still content to talk about, it's still interesting, but when the intentions Treyarch had for putting them there in the first place doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like they intend for you to get a tease at the next map in the future, but then you don't see it until the map's already out. I don't get that. So
Well, here's what's stupid is people are making 15-minute videos talking about that cipher when it doesn't actually tell us anything. Like that's a 5-minute video. It's really cool and it's
it's a
worth
5-minute video.
it's worth bringing up in a video, but like maybe as a topic of another video with other topic discussions.
Which is what I'm doing
like,
as well. That's what I'm doing.
On its
Yeah.
own, there's nothing to talk about. Like, wow, the Shadow Man is in control of Purgatory and he's responsible for the
Yeah.
Victor's crew, but it doesn't
It's
tell us anything. Like, it is cool that they've confirmed that the Shadow Man was inspired by Nyarlathotep, which we already assumed anyway.
Yeah.
So again, that doesn't really tell us anything new, but the fact that we have confirmation now, that's basically the only actual bit of info we got out of that, is it confirmed our theories. But
aren't you worried about the revelation ciphers though? Because what I'm scared about is once they get solved, I feel like they're supposed to be hinting at the ending of Tag. I'm just worried that it's not, and those ciphers are going to be hinting at like a Great War or some other really cool ending they had planned that didn't happen. So I'm a bit skeptical. We got lucky with the Garrod one. That one made sense. We get that. But I feel like the Revelations ones might be going in a different direction.
no, I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like they always plan to end it at Tag.
No, I get that
Honestly.
too, but you could definitely see in Black Ops 4, I mean, after Classified, I get what they were doing. The writing made a lot of sense, but before Classified's ending was solved, it's like they were really
Here's the
throwing Great War in your
This
face.
this is the problem with, I guess, development, because in Black Ops 3, everyone was screaming for remasters. They did Zombies Chronicles, everyone loved it. So at the time, and throughout Black Ops 3, Trek were thinking we would love them. I mean, but then they ended up doing these remakes, and people were like, I just don't know. I think, I guess because they were closing up the
headache.
storyline, in
Yeah.
order for them to close up all the loose ends, it made sense for them to go to old locations from a storyline perspective.
Yeah, I get that too.
It made it easier to close up, because if they had a new map, they would have to create a whole new lore and a whole reason for them being there
Right.
and everything like that. And then that would just open up more can of worms when they're trying to be closing up all of them.
Yeah, appreciate that comment,
So-
Zai. That's funny. I'll definitely be posting that video tonight, unless something comes up. I should be good to post tonight. Yeah, but that's one thing story-wise. But then what about the guitar riff on Black Ops 4? I still can't believe that it took somebody.
I mean, that's cool.
It's cool, but I still can't believe it took somebody to make a script to figure that out, because the step itself didn't really make sense when it was cracked.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if other things are going to get found. Blood of the Dead secret room, the coin, the brew machine. What about the bowls on 9? That was like a weird thing that people were talking about. Dead of the Night vases.
No, wasn't that solved?
No.
That was for the shield upgrade, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. The bowls are unsolved. You throw wraith fires in the bowls and something else would happen. I forgot, and it's unsolved.
I swear that was for the shield upgrade. Are you sure?
No, I'm positive. I'm positive. It's still. I made a video
'Cause
about unsolved Easter eggs on Black Ops 4 about like a year and a half ago. Yeah, that was one of them. I remember making it. It was a fun video.
Yeah, I feel like it was unsolved because it was broken, but then they fixed it. Or am I just remembering things?
They fixed the crowd. You think about the crowd wave Easter egg that was broken? That got fixed late, like the spork knife and blood. There's also the Dead of the Night vases. There's a couple of things, a couple of loose ends on some of the maps that I'm hoping we get answers to. It's like not that. What I found weird about it though is people that did make videos about the guitar
I think
riff.
there's quite a few on Voyage.
Yeah, definitely
well.
Voyage. 100. Voyage is the most work put into it, like Shadows. But people that did make videos on the guitar riff, from what I saw, the videos didn't do well. So I'm like, is interest in Black Ops 4 not there anymore, or do people just not? I don't know. Do people not care about the quest? Is it too late? I wonder what it is, or the videos not get sent out correctly. Saw a few videos posted about it, and nobody really gave a shit from what I saw. So I'm curious what the interest is with unsolved Black Ops 4 Easter eggs. I wonder how the community feels about that. But do you think there is something more to be found on like Blood, or do you think it's kind of just Voyage? And what do you think?
Definitely. I mean, well, there's the thing with the coin.
Yeah.
With the wolf on it, I guess. I mean, there's definitely not a wolf mask like some people have been saying, because
That would've
surely
been
people
cool.
would have found
That
that.
would've been cool.
People would have found it in the files if there was.
Yeah, I would have.
I think that secret room isn't something cancelled. I feel like it's something that can still be accessed.
Yeah,
Like, there's a whole room there with scripts for stuff left.
I think
like,
Glitching Queen found. By the way, she hasn't posted in months. I don't know what. I think she took a break. Glitching Queen, if I remember correctly,
Didn't she say she broke her arm or something?
Maybe, yeah, maybe it sounds familiar. Maybe she did. I remember she
saw a
found
tweet or something.
the door that opens in the attic, or the wall that breaks down in the attic. There's
You can go in it.
Yeah,
in Alcatraz and Blackout. So.
Right. There's a script when that piece of the wall breaks by the attic, and that script is for, okay, the wall's gonna come down or the door's gonna open, and that same script is also by the door that leads to the boss fight on Blood of the Dead, and then that same script again is on the door where we think the secret room is in the infirmary. So I'm like, that script is kind of all over the place on the map, then it probably means you can open that door or go past, the barrier there to find something. So I'm really curious about that Blood of the Dead door. It might be something. But hey, we'll see what happens with that at some point. But yeah, definitely working on a cool zombies video, kind of recapping a lot of new updates and things I wanted to discuss. But there's also the double tap poster on Diesel, the new multiplayer map. Do you think double tap's the next perk, or do you think it's kind of just a reused asset from the campaign? How do you feel about that one?
Wasn't there already double tap in the game, like referenced somewhere?
Somewhere, maybe, yeah. I can't remember exactly.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is the next perk, but I feel like there was already a reference somewhere, like either on another map or in the campaign.
Right.
I feel like I remember seeing something.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, though. I think double tap PhD Mule Kick are pretty much a guarantee. And if you want any other perks to be added, they'll just throw them in as pure
one with the
upgrades.
Outbreak Easter egg, surely. It's time for a new perk.
That's another thing. I'm like, look, my theory, right, that I talked about in one of my previous videos last week, is it looks like they're dropping a new perk with each new zombies map. With the Machina, with Firebase, Berlin could be next. But somebody commented, like, wait a second, what if they just added a new perk every time there's a new Easter egg, a main quest? So technically, Outbreak's main quest will be the time when they drop double tap. Well, that's a good theory.
I personally only think there's 2 more maps left.
Right,
so,
which that would work perfectly.
Yeah.
You have double tap with the Outbreak Egg, PhD, let's say, with Berlin, and then one last map after that with Mule Kick. That's kind of the theory. And then it's like, all right, that leaves us with just 4 traditional maps in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. The least amount we've ever had. 5 to 6 is usually what we do get in every Zombies iteration. And that's not including, the remasters, Resurrection, Zombies Chronicles. So if we get left with just 4 traditional maps in Black Ops Cold War, I guess you could say, oh, well, all the content, Outbreak, Onslaught. I'm like, sure, that's still a lot of content, but maybe that does leave room for quote-unquote Chronicles 2, some remasters in year 2. I mean, to bring the map list up to at least 7, roughly. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Black Ops 4 only had 8, so that's kind of around the same number if we look at that. But
yeah, I mean, it's really,
hard to tell.
It's really difficult to predict the future. It really is.
Right.
But I think at least for this year, there's only 2 left. I think we're going to be getting Berlin,
season 4, and then
the
season 6
giant
reloaded.
map the giant map that was leaked, which is either a Dury's remake.
I hope it's not.
Or it's something. Well, here's the thing.
Jesus
though.
Christ.
The calling cards for season 3 show some big giant creature
in the city, right?
A city.
Yes. I like that.
So what if on the Berlin map we unleash? I mean, that could be the first one or something else from the Dark Ether. We could unleash that, and then the final map could be have them roaming around the map like on Origins.
Yeah, I mean, it could work, but you know, so somebody
I don't know.
commented.
The thing is with
Oh, go ahead.
the thing is with zombies right now is obviously they made it simpler, so it's easier to access for people, which I think is a good thing. At the same time, though, I do miss those really convoluted maps in a way, and
They just
you know,
need they just need to make one of these maps coming up complicated, whether it's Berlin or the last map. Make one of them complicated as shit. And you know what?
It doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to have like a lot to it. Like,
Yeah, but I think
I mean, they
it's
can have
so
stuff
it's
that's
so
multiple
deserving
steps
though.
without it being complicated.
If you do that, it feels
Yeah.
deserving because if you make all the maps before that easy or just progressively getting harder, then I feel like it's warranted to have at least one somewhat difficult map towards the end. Kind of like, all right, you guys got, if you guys are new to zombies, you quote unquote got
Especially if
good
it's
over the
supposed
past
to be
couple
the
maps.
big climax to the story. That naturally should be more epic.
Like
and,
Origins
you
was
know,
fucking
have more
hard
to
when they
it.
first came out. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Origins is a difficult map to get used to if you're new to zombies. So I think, you know, looking at the ending of a season being more difficult in the beginning, I think that makes sense. But Black Ops 3 kind of like said, you know what, never mind. Shadow started a bit more convoluted, a bit more, you know, overwhelming at first, and then throughout the season, maps kind of got a little bit easier. But you know, it's up to perspective how you look at that. But you look at the 3 missing perks in the Wonder Fizz, and I'm like, look. Again, I think that theory was probably true. We're gonna get 2 more traditional maps, and then we're gonna get the double tap during the Outbreak Egg. So that explains how we're gonna get 3 more perks. I think that works. My theory is like, all right, 1 perk per new map, but I think they might just be pulling, hey, we'll give you 1 new perk per new main Easter egg. So Outbreak fits into that. I think that definitely works. But I also have written down a season 4 Berlin bluff. And what I mean by that is when Craig said that the next map is coming in a future season, probably season 4, that's a direct quote. Could he be pulling a Firebase where he said Firebase is coming next season, but then it came in season 1 Reloaded? So could the map be done early? Could they drop it in season 3 Reloaded? What do you think about his statement? Could it be a bluff or is it actually true?
I think the statement actually meant it could be a later season because he said it's coming
That's
in a
fucked.
future season, probably season 4. That's actually his direct words. So it sounds more like it could actually be season 5 technically.
Dude, that makes no fucking sense, dude. And again, and from my
He
perspective,
said that.
chat,
Listen back.
yeah, didn't he say
to the
in a future season,
interview.
probably
He
season
literally
4?
said it's coming in a future season, probably season 4.
Yeah, that's the quote. Yeah.
It could be 5.
No,
But
bro,
they
dude,
must be trying to get the map right.
Well, I get that, and I'm okay
right.
waiting for a perfect map. But if it comes out like Firebase, where there isn't many side quests, it's a cool map, but it's not anything like mind blowing. Then what was the wait for? Right, we're already seeing the biggest gap between traditional zombie map releases. Firebase to Berlin, if Berlin comes out at the beginning of season 4, is 133 days. We've never seen a gap like that. But sure, we're getting more content in between. The Outbreak quest, all the side Easter eggs, new regions, Onslaught. I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna say, oh, you know, Zombies is dead. I have nothing to play. I play a hell of a lot more multiplayer than anything. I play a lot of Warzone, so it's like, you know what? I'm cool waiting. I'm not tripping. I have content to make anyway. But for the zombies community specifically, that's going to be rough. If it's past season 4, the beginning at least, dude,
I mean,
all hell's going to break loose, man. Holy fuck.
The main problem I have with Cold War Zombies is there's not enough side things to do. There's just not enough. Like on D Machina, we had the hand. We had, I guess, the freaking order stomping in the distance, but that's not really for a reward. So that's just a cool like storyline thing.
Right.
We had the 3 points thing, which was pointless. I guess that hinted to the Euro Mountains and the Operation Inversion, but like there needs to be stuff to do to get upgrades and, you know, like further progress.
I get that.
Like, because now the way of progressing in zombies is through salvage, and that's pretty much it. Because before you know, things like armor would usually either require you to do an Easter egg, or it would be like a craftable item or something like that.
Right.
And then for the equipment, all of those would have been little Easter eggs you could do. I still think that Gorod Krovi is probably the perfect map in terms of like side things to do. There is so much to do on Gorod Krovi. You've got all the different helmets. You've got you know, the Valkyrie helmet, the Mangler helmet, the dragon wings.
I do like Gorod.
Those are all really easy things to do. And then you've got the Dragon Strike. You've got the Dragon Strike upgrade. You've got What else is there? You've got, I think, 3 Easter egg songs on that map because you've got
There's a lot.
the
Ace of
normal
Spades in
one
the
with
boss fight.
vodka. Yeah, you've got the normal one with the vodka bottles. You've got the Ace of Spades, and then there's one in the boss fight. You also have that
Right.
weird room with the puppets, and
Wait,
you've then
weird room
got
with the puppets. What room?
Remember Glitch and Queen posted it
Weird room with the puppets.
by the boss fight arena.
Oh,
by the
yeah,
boss
yeah,
fight
yeah,
arena
yeah. I know what you're
with
talking about. Right.
the
It's in the boss
toys
fight
and
arena.
stuff.
That's right.
The
That's right.
stuffed toys.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got
Yeah,
that, which
GK is
is
a
pretty
classic, man.
cool. And then I don't know
Yeah.
what that was supposed to represent. Was it supposed to be Monty and the character? I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
And then you've also got the gravestone where you could get free max ammo, a free
Upgraded monkey
perk,
bombs was badass. That was badass.
Yeah, you could get upgraded monkey bombs, and that was pretty cool. And then you had
Yeah.
just the regular shield, the shield upgrade. You had all the stuff with the dragons. I don't know. Grodd Caribia is a really cool map. I don't think it's the best map. I don't think it's perfect. But in terms of just the amount of layers, there is a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Shadows has a lot of layers as well and a really cool atmosphere. I still think there's more to do on Garod, but I think there's a lot to do on Garod without it really being complicated. I mean, the main Easter egg is a bit complicated, but in terms of side Easter eggs, everything isn't really complicated, and it doesn't really have to force you to do the main Easter egg to do the side stuff.
Yeah.
Because with Origins, there's also a lot of stuff to do, but a lot of it requires you to do a lot of the Easter egg. Whereas Garod, there is so much stuff to do without you touching the Easter egg. There's so many upgrades and
lots of things you can go for. No, I agree. And then real quickly, a comment that I saw brought up. Somebody was asking, hey, if Treyarch listens to the community so much, why is SBMM still in the game? And I'm going to reiterate the point that I said before, is I'm going to call SBMM a hoax from a standpoint of somebody that knows that SBMM has been in Call of Duty since Black Ops 2 over a decade ago. And it was never a problem until, I don't know who, started spreading this rumor going around saying that it was literally ruining the multiplayer. SBMM has always existed. There's proof it exists.
It's definitely worse than it was.
It's definitely worse than it was, but people that say it makes the game unplayable, I get the frustration, but I don't reverse boost and I drop nukes very often, a couple times a week at least in multiplayer. Just the thing about it is it's all about getting used to a certain play style, knowing how the players are playing the game, playing with friends once in a while, knowing map control. I mean, SBMM exists, and I've seen proof of it. I played with people that aren't very good, people that are new at the game, and I got easier lobbies. I understand it exists, but it's not something so serious where it prevents you from playing the game. It's more severe in Modern Warfare than Black Ops Cold War. It affects Warzone too, don't get me wrong.
I see people saying it's worse in Cold War.
It's not worse in Cold War, I could promise you that.
I don't understand.
I could guarantee you.
It feels way less to me.
There's also the fallacy of just Call of Duty multiplayer over time. You have to remember that multiplayer's been around. I don't
notice it in Cold War as much.
I don't know. Multiplayer's been around since COD 4, a real solid multiplayer experience. So since then, players are just getting better at the game. So over time, over the next couple of games, you're going to see people just playing better at multiplayer. You're going to see less potatoes over time. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way multiplayer is, unfortunately. It's like Mark was saying, SBMM is an overreaction. It's a really multi-layered discussion though, SBMM, because yes, Drifter, Ace, a lot of content creators have come together with hard data proving it exists. So we're not denying it, but I'm calling it a hoax from a perspective of somebody that doesn't experience it like that. I mean, you can call me a great player, sure. Whatever you guys want to call me. It doesn't matter. You call me an average player or you call me anything you want in the book in terms of how I play multiplayer, but it's not something that prevents you from playing the game. It's such an over-exaggeration that is cringe to look at, but somebody also said in the chat, but everybody's fed up with it. I'll remind you that the vocal majority you see on Twitter and Reddit represents the minority of the actual Call of Duty community. Activision's seeing numbers and success they've never seen before in their life. So of course they're going to look at this, rant of SBMM and they're going to say, okay, whatever. It's not, doesn't represent the actual player base that's still playing the game every single day. It's such a minute issue, such a small problem compared to other things they're looking at. So quick rant on that I wanted to go over. Jay said SPM is strong in Cold War. I don't agree with that. I mean, even if the data proves it, I just don't experience it, so I can't agree.
No, they did. They posted the data, and it was almost identical, wasn't it?
I think it was a little bit lower on the curve than Modern Warfare was, but again,
their data pool. I mean, it's all just averages, really. So
yeah, but again, it's also a thing too. What if it's not SPMM chat? What if it's literally players just playing like shit? So did you call it? Because somebody in the chat said, I barely touch multiplayer, but I get tryhards every match. What if it's just people that are abusing broken weapons, camping in corners, hard scoping. What if it's not SBM? What if it's just players being assholes? Like that's literally what could be happening. That's not the game designed to go against you. That's players abusing broken mechanics, running gung-ho, throwing semtex, throwing gas mines. You know, the snipers are also a joke in Cold War with no flinch. People think they're good at sniping, but they're not. They're just, getting lucky with how the snipers work in that game. What if it's just players who play like shit? What if it's not SBMM?
I really hate snipers.
Oh, I do, and I won't talk much about them.
Bullshit.
Snipers are bullshit in Cold War. It's just
I don't know.
Sniping's still harder than
it
playing
gets
with an SMG or an assault
it
rifle.
does, but if I show you some of the clips I've seen lately, people that no scope across the map and they're zooming in and out. There's skill
just
involved,
because
sure.
it's like, just because like they get a lucky shot and it's annoying to deal with.
Oh, it's not just lucky shots, bro. I'm talking people dropping nukes, bro. I was literally, I think, was it on stream the other day? I think I was streaming. Somebody dropped a sniper-only nuke within like a minute and a half in my game. And
look at the amount of snipers compared to, SMGs and assault rifles have always been the most used.
No, it's true, but I for some reason, I've been playing multiplayer since COD 4 when it first became a thing, when it was a popular thing. I have never seen that many snipers in my fucking life playing Call of Duty multiplayer than I have this year. I love Cold War multiplayer. I play it every day, but the sniping it's unbearable sometimes. It's ridiculous, but sniping aside, I just think, again, to end off the SBMM topic, what if players are just playing like shit? It's not the game designed to go against you to make you have a bad time. Some people abuse it means if people out there are abusing broken weapons, camping in corners.
It means if you have a bad game or you get killed, I guess, like, you're just getting wrecked. It doesn't necessarily
or you simply
mean
lost the
just
gunfight.
being like purposefully pale-aced in like a game that's out to
That's
get
what I
you.
mean. It's not about the game purposely placing you in a match that's sweaty. What if other players on the enemy team are being assholes, using broken weapons, camping in corners, beating you in gunfights? That's not the game designed to do that. That's them playing a certain way, which you lost against, if that makes sense.
Or crazy idea. Maybe you're just not having a good game.
Because, hey, that's how Call of Duty is, bro. I'm dropping nukes how often now, and I have games where I'm like, bro, I can't do anything. It's a nothing game where literally nothing happens. You have matches where you can't do anything. That happens in Call of Duty. The more multiplayer you play, the more you're going to experience that. You have one bad game, 6 good games, or whatever. Some people are like, oh, but I have 7 bad games, 1 good game. Everybody's experience is different, bro. It's subjective. You know what I mean? It's like such a multi-layered topic as well that it's hard to really, put a blanket over with one explanation. It's complicated, man. But yeah, all that shit aside, reverse boosting is good.
It's pretty easy to get around it if you even are so bothered by it. Like, all you do is just join another account. It's not exactly hard.
There's a lot of ways around it, man. Reverse boosting, it's like that. Whatever. If that's what you guys want to do, go for it. But
I think eventually the algorithms are going to be so good that there's not really going to be any proper way to get around it. Because I'm surprised they're probably looking into it. They don't.
Somebody already said recently that with the recent update,
they blocked VPNs on stuff, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's like you said, they're getting closer and closer to essentially preventing any type of reverse boosting or any of these exploits where you can get potato, handicap lobbies. Because unfortunately, I believe I forget who made a video. It might have been Exclusive Ace. He mentioned that there is legitimately handicap lobbies. Players that they have certain settings on that they're handicap or colorblind, blah blah blah, XYZ settings. And you're able to get into those lobbies with a certain amount, or not colorblind.
Colorblind doesn't affect.
No. It's something else. Some other settings for handicapped players, literally handicapped players. There's a setting that exists for people like that.
The setting, it'll put you in like an easier lobby though.
But I think if you set your PlayStation or you set your game to like, I'm disabled. There's certain things you can do, certain measures you can go through. No, it's a thing. I watched the video on it. There's certain measures you can take to make that clear that you have issues.
Anyone could do it.
No, but then if they see you're playing a certain way, then it's clearly you're not having an issue. But I forgot, it might have been information. It might have been Ace, or I forgot who pulled. Not Jay God, it might have been Ace. He made a video talking about how there literally are potato lobbies out there with it. People are getting into, and it's not fair.
Yeah, there's lobbies, but it's not like you can't just put on a button. Like you can't just.
It's not just one button though. It's a list of things you have to do, and I watched it like 2 months ago. I forgot what it was. If I find later, I will. But
man, I don't know what you're on about.
I think the what we should always refer to.
Yeah.
With SBMM, we should always refer to what we talked about with Ryan, is that this franchise has been going on for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
People are getting better. People are playing better.
I mean,
look at Fortnite as an example.
Yeah, as I said earlier too. It's like
look at
over
Warzone.
time.
How many people are playing Warzone that probably haven't even played COD?
Probably never. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of the Battlefield player base too came to Modern Warfare. As Modern Warfare was attracting that kind of play style. Rainbow Six, a lot of games out there that aren't COD, but Modern Warfare adopted some of those play styles and players jumped over. And then Warzone as well. If you're just a battle royale player, you might jump to
With
Warzone.
COD having more people playing the game than ever before, you have to understand that people are constantly leaving the franchise. It's just the rate of people joining the franchise is much faster than people leaving, which is why it's been growing recently a lot.
Right.
Thanks to Warzone being free to play. So, you know, I think there are still a lot of new players out there. Like, we just don't get in those games because of skill-based matchmaking, I guess.
Logically, it's like, I get what SBMM means, but you have to think about this, right? If the true intention of SBMM is to put you always with players at your skill level, and you're a good player, then how is a nuke possible?
Exact like that.
Yeah, how would a nuke be possible then? How would Treyarch intend for you to go on big streaks and do things if you're always getting put with people that are as good as you? Because not, I think the way the system really is you'll get players that are as good as you on the other team, and then you kind of get a mix and a balance of like decent players, good players, depending on your skill level. But people do take it as face value, like, oh, I'm always getting put with people that are as good as me. And it's just not really how it works. It's again a bit of a different system that I think other content creators have explained plenty enough, but it's not the crisis or this big tragedy that people are making it out to be. That's just the way I look at it, but just subjective.
There's no answer to any of it. It's all just opinion.
It's all opinion based. All experience based. It's all how you play the game, how you're experiencing the game. Everybody's experience is different. Some people might have more bad games than others. There's no way to blanket the whole thing. But aside from the SBMM rant, I think we were going off of a topic about, what was it? Season 4 Bluff. To kind of wrap that up a little bit, I definitely think there's a possibility the Outbreak Egg could drop before Season 3 Reloaded, but that's just being optimistic. They might wait until the actual Reloaded update, but
I don't think it's ready. I think it's just going to release when it's done. I think that's all it is.
But it has to be Season 3, though. Season 3 was the season they confirmed it for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it'll be this season, but they're still actively working on it. Because I mean, the Treyarch developers said they're still working hard on it, and also, I think they're probably still working on the Berlin map. I think it needs more time. That's why Craig said probably Season 4. It's because, well, it's not ready yet. They still have to do some more touches to it. Well, I guess with the pandemic and stuff, it further complicates things.
Can they pull a Gorod?
The Berlin map needs to have a lot of depth. I hope there's a lot of side Easter eggs that are worthwhile. Right. I mean, Firebase Z, we had the upgraded monkeys, which was cool, but it was really simple to do. But you know, it was pretty cool. But there wasn't really anything beyond that. We had the jump pad Easter egg, but that was so pointless. Like when they put side Easter eggs, like they should have side Easter eggs that either have storyline importance, and that is the way that it's significant, or it has gameplay significance. If you're going to put in an Easter egg that doesn't really have either, you know, what is even the point? Like, I just don't know.
Like I was saying this last week. I went off on a bit of a rant last week. I'm like, look, man,
permanent upgrades are the thing that I think, like, once you did that free jump pad Easter egg on Firebase C, moving forward, you should have free jump pads. I would have done it then, because I'm not going to bother doing it every game I go in. What's even the point?
Yeah, no, I said that, I went off on a rant last week, and before I even bring it up again, Fajardi, what do you think would happen with the zombies community if Berlin doesn't come to Season 5? Like, how crazy would that be, dude?
Yeah, I was actually gonna intervene and say that, because you guys were talking about it earlier, but I had to leave for a second.
Yeah.
I think if, like Matt said, if the map were to come at Season 5,
I mean, it could be Season 4 Reloaded even.
Right.
I think Season 5 at the latest is where I can personally stop defending the game for a new zombies map to drop.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
I think, because I love the game. I'm not like some like hidden hater of it. I love playing the game. I think the content right now is great. I think the introduction of the Easter egg is going to provide a lot of fun. But we're talking about January, or sorry, start of February until what would Season 5 be?
That's like, I feel like that's like July, August. Actually, wait, that could be August, and then Season 6 would be like September to fucking, I don't know, actually. It's probably like late July, depending on, it's probably like very last week of July.
Whatever the case may be, it's a long ass time. Yeah. It's a really long ass time.
That's unacceptable at that point. Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, and I would still love the game, but it would, especially in the zombies aspect, I would start to, it would be inexcusable at that point.
Yeah, completely agree. I completely agree with that. I'm like, look, Berlin has to drop soon, or whatever the hell the map is. And it's not because of lack of content that people are claiming. You could say that, sure. Oh, we had 4 maps by this point in fucking Black Ops 3. We had 5 maps in Black Ops 4. And I'm like I said last week, where the hell were these people when those games were in their prime? I mean, Black Ops 3, sure, had more positivity than Black Ops 4. But Black Ops 4, I'm like, the game launched with 4 maps. Dead of the Night released a month and a half later in December. Ancient Evil then dropped a month and a half after that, in March or something, or whatever the hell the month was. Black Ops 4 had 6 maps by March. That is insane to think about. We're just at 2 right now in Black Ops Cold War. Why wasn't Black Ops 4 being praised more then? Because at the time, people were, once again, as a reminder, oh, these maps aren't gameplay driven, they're story driven. The Easter eggs are too hard. There's too many perks, blue screens, bugs. I'm like, I get the blue screen part. Don't get me wrong. But now all of a sudden the maps are too easy. The Easter eggs suck. It's like, pick your poison or pick what the fuck you want to like. Pick what you believe, dude. Unless you didn't play Black Ops 4.
When we got the classified cutscene, that was a big, like, I remember when we did that. That was people's moment where they're like, "Screw this game," and they walked away.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, even
they weren't even trying for the egg at the time.
Even classified, the thing when it comes to world's first Easter eggs, unless you're just a lucky SOB, then it's maybe because nobody else is going for it or looking, which is why you get it. And that's what classified was for us. Nobody was really doing anything to find it. Nobody believed the high round theory or the leak that was going around. So what I find funny about that is, like, Black Ops 4 answered the feedback of Black Ops 3, as we talked about before, right? Black Ops 3, they're like, oh, people were saying not enough new perks, not enough remasters,
I don't think
not
more
enough
maps
Easter eggs.
Is really the answer, because
it's not the answer, but when there were more maps, nobody batted an eye to it. Now there's a lack of maps, but they're more gameplay driven and casual. You have Outbreak, you have Onslaught. People are still complaining.
More depth. I think that's what they need.
But even when they have depth, then people say there's too much depth. That's the problem. Black Ops 4, that's exactly what the argument was. Too much depth in blood.
Because maps can have depth without them being overcomplicated. Like, there's definitely... Like, I think because they've tried to simplify zombies now, which is great, but they should still have those side things to do that are actually worthwhile. You know, D Machina as like side Easter eggs. I think you could have tweaked the 3 points one. Let me think.
Fair.
Let's try and think of like a worthwhile reward for the 3 points. So the electricity
and
zaps the satellite, and you get the cipher or whatever.
Give you a wonder.
What else could you have gotten?
A wonder
like,
or
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Lightning related or something.
But then that would completely change up the gameplay for the map if it's good.
Yeah, good point from Cajun. There is a balance that's hard to achieve with this community. And that's the thing. Black Ops 3 had, I think, a solid balance, but there were no extra game modes in and Black Ops 3 at all. There were no extra zombies modes at all. Black Ops 4 solved that problem. Black Ops 3 had a lack of new DLC perks. Black Ops 4 solved that problem. You know, people looked at Black Ops 3. They loved the story-driven element about it. They loved the marketing. They loved the cinematics. They loved the Easter eggs. They wanted more of that. Black Ops 4 gave that to you. And on top of that, threw out another story, which is Chaos, which, without talking about that too much, might not have been the right time to do it because Ether was at a peak. It was at a climax. I get that. But then Black Ops 4 comes out, everyone's like, oh, we don't want remasters, we don't want more perks, we don't want hard Easter eggs, we don't want story-driven maps, we want casual this, casual that. Black Ops Cold War is exactly that. You could blame the pandemic for why Cold War is the way that it is, sure, but Cold War exactly answers the feedback that people were given in Black Ops 4, and people still aren't happy. So moral of the story is, you can't please the fucking community, man. Where the fuck were these people when Black Ops 4 was out, praising this, praising that? Now, I already see people saying,
Blackout
I already see that with Blackout. Oh, Warzone has no soul, there's no side quests, no character missions, no Easter eggs, boss fights. Blackout had it, Blackout was better. Where in the hell were you when Blackout needed the player base badly, which could have actually saved the mode?
Which could have made it like Warzone.
Yeah, if Blackout got the attention it did with crossplay, free to play, you know, the Nick Mercs, the Tim the Tapmans, the Courage, the Swags, if Blackout had that, because it didn't, I promise you Blackout would be the focus still to this day, or Blackout 2 would have came out. And Blackout
Swag did play it though. I know Swag played it a lot with Korean Savage.
I'm talking if they had the numbers they had that they do now. True. Imagine where Black Ops 4 would have been. So point being is, what people are asking for right now, for the most part, was already done during Black Ops 4. And where the fuck were these people? Nowhere. We either weren't playing it, complaining. I don't know. It's like, it's hilarious to see, but you know, not that you had to love that game, not that you can't dislike that game. You could have. But if you're asking for something we already got before, I don't get it. It's like when I see the argument about, oh, Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 and 4 had ways to earn weapons for free through supply drops. And it's like, wait, are you asking for supply drops again after all the years of saying you didn't want it? And then it's like, oh, Blackout had free battle passes. But I'm like, did you play the game at the time? Did you actually grind the battle pass? Probably not. Player base probably was low during most of the Blackout seasons, towards the later ones. Modern Warfare's, DLC model, battle passes, weapons, that clearly resonated more with the community, which is why we're seeing that again in Cold War, Unfortunately, if a lot of content creators didn't complain during Black Ops 4 about a lot of these things, the casuals might have respected the microtransaction model a little bit more in Black Ops 4, which arguably to me was the best model we ever had once the revamp came out, right? With being able to trade cases for X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 So tangents aside, it's hypocritical. There's a lot of double standards going on with exactly how Call of Duty content has been over the past couple of years, how the output has worked. But
we've hit that time of the podcast where DK starts to get mad about Black Ops 4.
I get heated. No, it's unfortunate because Black Ops 4 is a solid ass game that I believe suffered not even because of budget cuts and Treyarch kind of moved to COD 2020, more because people didn't shut their fucking mouth about things that didn't even matter. People that complained about
the game got dogpiled for no reason.
The blue screens and all that I got. Once that was fixed though, it's like now you're just nitpicking. People that were complaining.
Grizz still replies to every one of Treyarch's tweets asking for factions.
Oh my god! And he
like 2.5 years.
He transitioned to like a glitching channel, so I'm like, hey, he's like another serial glitchers now, posting interesting glitches on zombies. Cool, but Grizz, he actually blocked me on Twitter, which is hilarious when I called him out for the factions bullshit.
Child.
Yeah. The whole factions thing too. It's like, oh, you go to the BBB and you can argue that factions was marketed, never came out. But I'm like, you know what? The contract system replaced that pretty well, and gave us more worthwhile rewards than anything. Factions was just for T-shirts and hats, useless cosmetics for characters that again got scrapped. The Chaos Crew no longer getting continued. So what would factions ever really meant, right? It was all for Chaos anyway. So who cares?
I mean, the problem with factions is everyone's expectations got so high because.
But why though?
Jason mentioned it.
Yeah.
At Gamescom, was it? Not Gamescom. Comic-Con, I think. He mentioned it when he revealed Classified. I think. I don't know. Some of Black Ops 4's marketing was really weird because the initial reveal event was like huge and they hyped it up so much.
I think
we didn't hear anything for ages, and then all of a sudden they went to Comic-Con and they did that talk. And he just mentioned Classified, like he didn't, like we just got the logo for it.
Right.
We heard no word of it. And the trailer didn't release until the day of release. Actually, like
that was weird. I remember that was weird. Yeah, that was weird. I know. I personally think
it was a short trailer as well.
It had to have been change of leadership. I think it was once Blundell stepped away, because we all know he didn't step away after Tag. He stepped away way before that, after Ancient Evil. I think once he stepped away, and then once I think the leadership at Treyarch started to change a lot more. Things got scrapped, modes got cut. Newton's Cookbook, there's an image of it out there. Factions, Treyarch custom mutations. Again, these are all things that we know existed. There's hard proof of all of them.
Did Newton's Cookbook not released?
Never released.
No.
Nope.
Because he said it was coming as well.
He said Grief was done before. He said Grief was done before the game even dropped, and that never dropped either. So. Again,
I wish, like, I don't mind if they're just honest with us and actually, like, if they development's difficult, so if stuff does have to get cancelled or stuff gets canned, fair enough. I think I would understand, and any mature person would understand. But if there's any,
if you come out and say, look, man, we were working on this, things weren't working out, we weren't reaching a level of quality we wanted to reach.
I think the lack of communication is a big problem because we just see the game as like an entity, instead of individual people working on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both the community's fault, but also the marketing team or the communication team's fault, where they're doing it. They're being a bit better recently. Like Ravensoft and Treyarch have been responding to people on Twitter a bit.
Yeah, now they have a Trello board for bug fixes, but I think it's also down to Activision to allow them to talk about certain things too. It's not even the developers.
I mean, I wish they would just be free to just talk about whatever.
Because Activision cracks hard on early builds of games being posted on YouTube, and it's like, who gives a fuck, man? If you post an early build of Black Ops 3, does it really matter?
It doesn't need to be as lucrative as it is.
Yeah, I know, and it's like
video game.
And it's like the game's been out for 5-6 years. Why not look at an early build of it just to see, what it was and then what it turned out to be? It's like, whatever. Some people might complain, oh, this was better at one point. That looked better. It's like, but the game's been out for years. Who cares? Like, the fact that they get striked is just ridiculous. It just shows a lack of transparency with, how the Call of Duty community works. Some people are interested in stuff like that. Why is that a problem to look at? The game's been out. It's a game. If it's pre-release, I get why they strike it. Again, it's a leak. I get that. But 5-6 years later, and videos are getting striked because it's like an early build of Shadows of Evil. Really? Like, what is the problem with that? And it's like, what does that matter? What does that accomplish? Striking the video down. What did that accomplish? At the end of the day, I don't get that.
Imagine Shadows in Black Ops Cold War. It would be so weird.
I know a lot of things.
I don't even know if it would work.
Zai is asking about ZC2 trailers. Yeah, so where that came from, again, it's good you asked that too. The whole ZC2 shit. I mean, I brought this up before, but we might not have went into a lot of detail about it in previous podcasts. But the whole Zombies Chronicles 2 shit, aside from all the assets being in Black Ops 4, Blackout, teasers in game, aside from leakers talking about it, QA testers mentioning it.
Talk about this in 10 years.
Yeah, and again, it's like it's such a dead horse at this point that I don't even care about the fact that it didn't come to Black Ops 4. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't make me upset. It doesn't make me say, oh, I'm not going to play the game now. We know for a fact things were going on with those maps. They were done. They were working on them. More than enough evidence to prove that, aside from the assets in game. We have people telling us this. Again, we're not trying to leak anything, but people out there that had good information about Warzone, Modern Warfare, they were saying the same things. Transit, winky faces, maps were done, blah, 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 blah. So things didn't happen. It's very clear as to why. Treyarch moved on to COD 2020, budget cuts, blah, blah, blah. I think the strongest possibility of seeing those maps again will be in Cold War, just because of the fact that Victus is in the Dark Ether, and that's what the story's about. But it's such a topic that I'm done talking about at this point, that it's not something that I'm like, oh, every day I'm thinking about it. It's like, if it happens, it happens. If they got scrapped indefinitely, too bad. But people out there that, again, are like, oh, I need transit, I need diarize. It's like, again, it's like Fajardi said, would those maps do a lot for you? If you didn't like Cold War already, would those maps change your mind about the content in the game? Would one remaster change it all? Like, I don't think so. So that's why I'm like, whatever. If it happens, it happens. But at this point, transit makes more sense as a fucking Outbreak experience, not a traditional zombies map. But, we'll see.
Mean, I think, as I was saying earlier, I think they should do different Outbreak variations, and definitely some sort of survival version of Outbreak would be awesome.
Fair.
I really do hope we can play on the full Euro Mountains map at some point.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's say in the Easter egg we knock down the walls or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I forgot what they called them in the intel, but the Dark Ether incursion stuff. Right. Or maybe we just cause it to expand across a bigger area, and we can just go across the entire map. That would be so cool. Yeah. Another cool mode they could do is like the circle moves around the full map, and you have to stay in one region.
That'd be cool. It's unique.
I guess that's just like Onslaught, but they could do that on a bigger scale.
Yeah, Onslaught on the fire team experiences.
But yeah, I really do want to see like a proper full-on open world thing, but I don't know if they can handle. I mean, they have the full map working, so I feel like they could. Right. And instead of it, I guess, being random objectives, we could just go from objective to objective across the map. Like, that is what I want to see. I really want to see the full map. Especially because there's so many diverse terrains and environments. And I think that's what, like Verdansk lacks. It's all kind of the same, really. I mean, I guess there's slight differences, but, overall it's all pretty similar, whereas the Euro Mountains changes quite drastically from spot to spot.
Fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you go from like Golova, which is so bright and sunny, I mean, and then you go over to Alpine, it's like completely different, like a completely different spot.
It's true. Yeah, somebody asked about the zoo screenshots in chat. Yeah, that's coming. That's going to be a fire team experience. That'll probably add it to Outbreak.
The spots that left, we have
Zoo Battery, Chemical Labs. What am I missing? Fajardi help. But I think it's AFK. I can't remember. I think it's just Chemical Battery, Zoo. Mines was one, but I think that's part of. What was that a part of? I can't remember.
Well, it's part of the dance now.
Yeah, so they mixed that in. So I don't know what the fuck.
Well, I mean,
with that. That's a weird one.
Well, there's supposed to be like an underwater section, underwater labs, and all sorts of stuff. So
see that's crazy, bro. Like that's why I'm convinced if Fireteam Elimination performs well for the community as a strong player base, Activision's gonna say, either let's throw this Euro Mountains completed map into Fireteam as a full battle royale map, or we'll throw it into Warzone somehow, port that over
Honestly,
to the
I
Warzone
really
engine.
do
I
think
don't
it's
know.
coming to Warzone now. Just the fact that they've made Verdansk and Euro right next to each other, like why else
Why
would
would
they
you do
do
that?
Like
Yeah, why would you do that?
now
Yeah.
we're literally not far away from stepping into the Euro Mountains, and the fact that they're tying Euro directly into the Warzone storyline,
Yeah.
like it really makes it seem like it's going to
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
going to be
like
part of it.
you have fire team elimination on the individual fire team maps, right? And then if you combine all the fire team maps, you get this Euro Mountains massive experience. So I mean, like I said, I think it's all up to fire team elimination. If it performs well, I think Activision will consider it more. But I think the real reason why they're dropping fire team elimination has to be because they want to see how it does. They want to see how Battle Royale
It has to be a
performs.
response to everyone complaining about
Yeah.
Euro Mountains.
Yeah, that's another thing too, for sure. A response. So yeah, that's another thing about Euro Mountains. But I think it is time for our favorite segment of every podcast. You know what I'm talking about?
Who are these people?
There you go. I don't know if the majority's back yet, but yeah, chat. Let's jump
Have you
into.
put the comments anywhere?
I will pull them up on screen. You can see it on stream. I have it in a separate group chat. I can add you to it though. Hold on. Let me try to add you to it. See if it lets me. Please let me add friends to DM. And I think you're in. I don't know if you're able to see the previous messages in there, all the screenshots, but
yeah, I can see them. How far up am I going?
I think it's the April 25th. I believe that's the end down.
There's so many.
We're gonna scrape. Yeah, we'll probably pick and choose the best ones. But chat, as I said, who are these people?
Who are these people?
All right, that was no. I was playing the intro, the brand new intro for Who Are These People that I just got made a couple of days ago. Hope you guys like that. And starting off with a juicer. I wonder if any of these people are actually in chat right now. It'd be hilarious. First one we have, no, I don't buy it. There will only be 2 maps. They have no money because Activision has given them all to Warzone. Just don't expect anything in zombies. At least I am playing multiplayer, so I'm getting my money's worth there. I'm like, Activision doesn't have money? I'm like, what? Activision has plenty of money, my guy. They need to release Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer and no more Black Ops games. I'm like, don't know about that one, Chief. We'll talk about Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer later on in this podcast here. There's a video in your ads. Is this like an insult for the amount of ads I had in a video or something? I'm not sure what this one meant at all. I am only here for zombies and got nothing FML. So it's like, all right, if you don't like Outbreak, fair enough. But dude, we just got a new region added to Outbreak, new side quest, the Wonder Weapons, the main quest is coming soon. Berlin's confirmed. I'm like, what do you mean you got nothing? It's like there's plenty of content all around. God, I hate the fake voices people use when they make videos and stream. This one I put in here, I'm like, it reminds me of, I think we talked about this a little while before. I'm like, wait, when I record a commentary, I try to make sure I sound fluent. I try to make sure it sounds natural, not off a script. I want to make sure I sound clear. And no one puts on a fake voice. No one intends to do that. But naturally, that's how I speak when I'm thinking about something, recording a commentary. And how do you feel about that, though, Matt? It's like, I mean, we have to talk a little bit differently from a podcast to a video, but it's not purposeful. You're not trying to put on a fake persona, but you just try to pronounce things a certain way. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch like any videos when you first start a channel, I mean, one of the number one suggestions is to better enunciate your words. And,
talk slower too sometimes.
I mean, I think I've gotten better recently with like if I go back to videos from a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, I'm like way too much. But yeah, a lot of the time I struggle with my voice just being like clogged up and
it happens.
and that's just annoying.
It happens.
Or like especially when you record like soon after waking up. It can make it just sound so much worse.
That's true. This guy said, why does this guy sound like an Activision puppet? And this one I found interesting because I'm like, look, if I make a video talking about a new bundle or new content in the game, I'm not a puppet. I think somebody also said somewhere, which I'll read in a second, like, oh,
also, you've been striked, but
I know, and I've been striked for nothing before. It's like, I don't know how I'm a puppet just talking about new content in the game. It's like, I like covering all aspects of the game, so I don't know what makes me a puppet, but Yeah, okay, Battlefield won't be COD because they're boring as hell, but maybe they shouldn't release a completely unfinished game, causing a fan outcry and tarnishing the resurgence that was Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War. YouTube will have a field day for this, and the toxicity is going to be insane. Just scrap this game and release Modern Warfare 2 in 2022, but Bobby Kotick really needs the cocaine money, so he is going to do it. To quote Mel Gibson, asshole. Like, what? I'm like, what are these comments, man? COD has made multiple flops in a row. I only play it for zombies. As soon as the Battlefield drops, that's even close to how good 4 was, I'm leaving. Multiple flops in a row. I think Modern Warfare and Cold War have sold extraordinarily well compared to many previous CODs. So I don't know about multiple flops in a row, man. Ghost didn't do great. I don't think Black Ops 4 did that well, but Black Ops 3 was a peak for the franchise. Infinite Warfare did all right. World War II did great. I'm like, I don't know where multiple flops came from. There's that. Activision literally drops an atrocious game for 2020 and is now talking about scrapping their 2021 release. Battlefield is a superior shooter, as Battlefield 4 was the absolute best first-person shooter to release pre-Warzone. Here comes the hyper-realistic Battlefield Royale. And I'm like, Battlefield just did a Battle Royale. Firestorm, whatever the hell it's called. That didn't do great at all. That flopped. And I'm not saying Battlefield was in the dumps, but Battlefield 5 and 1 didn't do great either for the franchise. So I don't know where all this imaginary hype comes from for Battlefield. It really wasn't there for many years. I'm like, okay. He also mentions they're talking about scrapping 2021. That's literally a debunked rumor, which we're going to talk about later as well. That's not confirmed at all. I don't know where anybody got that from. Anyone who thinks Cold War is better than Modern Warfare is literally smoking crack with their parents who are also siblings. I'm gonna get demonetized for this one, man. Holy shit. Again,
You've sworn so much.
yeah, I know. I can't believe a subjective viewpoint somehow means you're smoking crack. I don't know where this came from. It's funny how you say big update, but it's not. The only major updates are beginning of the seasons and the mid-season update. Plus, you're a moron to be wasting money on bundles. Activision happy taking your money away for stupid content that will be useless down the road. So it's funny how the video, I think he was talking about the video I posted the other day. It was about the first major update of Season 3, which brought us first new operator, new modes, new gunfight tournament. I mean, it's the first major update of the season for sure. But again, calling me a moron for buying a bundle, which I didn't even buy in that video either. I don't know where that came from. But again, tax write-offs, my friend. I don't just spend money on bundles for nothing. My issue with Cold War are ammo boxed. Wait, this is a long one. Oh, I put this one for a reason. A lack of zombies atmosphere in Outbreak. I'm like, how does a zombies mode have a lack of a zombies atmosphere? I get it. They're fire team maps ported to zombies, but still, it's like the whole point of the mode is a big outbreak of zombies. It can feel empty sometimes. I get it, but the atmosphere to me is I don't know. It's fine. Let me see. Battlefield 6 is coming. Nothing Activision could do about that. They could have by not combining Cold War and Warzone. They have just kept dropping Modern Warfare content, or they could have just. And Warzone, this Back to the Future crap is dumb. Price 84, really? What the F? Really, how old is he then? What a run-on sentence here. I think he meant
Modern Warfare. Dude, if we were just getting Modern Warfare content this year, dude, I wouldn't even.
Where would our channels be right now? Because I tell Fajrati all the time, I'm like, dude, last year, I can't believe how different the channel was, because it was pretty much making any type of little Black Ops 4 content that I could. And then
oh, man.
It was tough. And then it was like, all right, a theory video here, story vid there, COD 2020 rumors, maybe a Warzone Easter egg vid whenever possible. Like, damn, it's actually depressing to look at what the hell was going on last year content-wise. And Matt was like, you weren't even here half the time. You were taking breaks. You were taking months off at a time. You weren't even posting that much until Warzone dropped. So, bro, imagine another year of Modern Warfare.
Game.
I'm worried about this Modern Warfare sequel in 2022. What the hell is going to happen at that point? I'm hoping I'm at a point channel-wise where I could cover it more and be okay. But
well, I think they're going to do zombies, so there's going to be something cool. But multiplayer, that can just get lost.
That could just get lost. Yeah, it's like, people are like, oh, Ground War's better than Fireteam. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Joe Seacock's going to come in,
Joe's hashtag the return. I'm like, when people say Ground War's better than Fireteam, again, subjective. I can't argue with you, but just look at the depth Fireteam has. It's such an objective, tactical played mode. Ground War's literally trying to be Conquest from Battlefield, which I never liked to begin with. So I don't know how people like that. I mean, it's whatever.
I wasn't even playing it at the time, but I always used to see clips on Twitter of people playing ground war, and people would just sit on that hill and just snipe.
But again, it's a sniper's wet dream, which I don't like at all. So it's like, of course, snipers are gonna enjoy it, but that's just
And
not.
there's just like tanks, and you could just go around in a tank.
I'm just yeah, bro. It's like fire team's the way, bro. Drugs are bad. Stop. Is this like an insult that I'm white or that I sound a certain way? I want.
I mean, what?
You just said drugs are bad. Stop. I don't know, man. By the way, if you have any comments that you've seen recently you want to pull up, let me know. Feel free to.
I can turn on face cam, by the way, now. If
Feel free.
will it affect anything? If I turn it on?
No, go for it. Season 2 character at wait, what? Season 2 character said next is Mule Kick during Zombies gameplay. It's one of his quotes. I don't see why they would add PhD when they added Armored Frenzy. What the hell does that mean?
there's a mule kick operator coming.
No, I think he means an operator has a voice line saying Mule Kick's coming. Where's that? Where have I missed this? I'm so confused. Where did this come from?
Mule kick operator.
And he said, why would they add PhD when they added Armored Frenzy? Does Frenzy Guard give you armor at some point? And even if it does, what does that have to do with PhD? PhD is about explosive damage. What's the connection?
I think they're definitely going to have to they're reworking all the perks because there's now upgrades. So PhD flopper, either it's going to make you dolphin dive now, or it's just going to be, it's still called flop, so I feel like it's going to make you dolphin dive.
But PhD was tier 5 of Jug originally, which got scrapped, and there's gameplay proof of that. So PhD was something different before. Now it's going to have its own set of tier upgrades, so I'm curious what they'll add to it.
No, don't they already have that in the game?
No, tier 5 of Jug got changed. They changed it.
Is there not one that's for not getting splash damage?
Nope. There's no fall damage.
Yeah, not
stamina. No fall damage from stamina, I think, but explosive damage is still a thing.
I could have sworn there's an upgrade for that.
No, this guy said, well, if they put half the development team that made these 54 bundles into making maps, we would have 5 maps. I don't know where this math came from. But when you have Activision breathing down your neck to give them their precious bundles, you know what the priorities are. I'm like, what is the correlation? 54 bundles to 5 zombies maps. I'm like, wait a second. You could have a different department working on cosmetics versus zombies maps. I don't know it's, again.
Yeah, the cosmetics will just be one person doing it all.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Well, not like each thing, but there'll be one person doing one bundle.
Yeah, this is a good comment, actually. I put this one for fun. I was literally just thinking, man, I'm in the mood to watch dkdynamite, but he got no new videos. He commented this right as I posted a new one. Awesome comment here. Shout out to Sean Long. I thought we weren't going to call... he said, I thought we weren't going to call bundles DLC packs. And then I replied to him, who made these rules? I'm like, when did we say that? I'm like, I call them packs if they're packs. They're downloadable content.
Together before the game released.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it DLC.
Yeah, I made the video. I'm saying, hey, community, we can't call bundles DLC packs going forward. I make the fucking rules, right? Apparently, I make the rules about this. Again, I title it that way. I think it makes more sense instead of just saying, hey, bundles coming out. I just like how it looks in the title. It's not that, clickbait and misleading. It's not misleading. They're DLC packs, whether you like them or not. And you pay for them. So if anything, they're more DLC than actual zombies maps now because you're actually paying for these fucking bundles. That's the way I look at it. But again, you want to complain about that? Fine. You know, your ability to do so. But why don't you go talk to multimillionaires titling their streams Outbreak Main Easter Egg Hunt or whatever the fuck they were saying 2 months ago.
Because these are the most genuine people. They don't care.
Yeah, I forgot. My bad. What do they say? Outbreak DLC 2, whatever. It's like, again, confusing people even more. It's misleading titles for multimillionaires. I don't get it, man. Hilarious.
Multi-millionaires that complain about taxes where they pay the least taxes in America.
In Texas. Living in Texas. No, there's the roast there. Instead of microfunding the shit out of us, instead of microfunding the shit out of us, give us our maps that we bought for back in November. Get out of your houses, go to work. This one's funny because there's no
contractual obligation anywhere.
There's no season pass. The money you put down for Cold War was for D Machina only. You didn't pay for Firebase maps for after that. There is no season pass. Like you said, no contractual obligation to drop any maps. They could have dropped D Machina and said, we're done covering this game. Done. That's it. There is no obligation at all to release anything but D Machina. He's talking about zombies. Get out of your houses, go to work. They actually can't. There's actually a pandemic going on, which has affected the entire world, and devs working from home now. So, breaking newsflash there. Absolutely hilarious. The only reason this guy says good about the game is because he's getting paid by Activision. And then somebody replied, have you ever heard the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise? And I'm like, You go from a roast to a Star Wars reference. I mean, it's an interesting
Well,
comment there.
it's because wasn't that guy named the
His na-
Senate or something?
His
And then the
name's
guy
Emperor
replied Emperor
Palpatine.
Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine. That's what. Again, literally, who are these people, chat? Funny comment, man. Again, I don't get paid by Activision, so if they paid my rent and COD points, that'd be fun. But they don't. So maybe one day we'll get a creator code. That'd be fantastic. I actually spoke to somebody at Activision recently, a nice person who mentioned that they are aware that I'm interested and they'll keep me in mind for future seasons whenever they open up the creator program. So God bless them. We'll see if it happens one day. And after that, we'll have to get a code revolution in the item shop as well. Code Dynamite, Code Revolution. Let's see those happen.
That's never gonna happen.
We'll see. Somebody comment, shut up. Where's the G11? Sorry, man. I guess I'm talking too much. I don't know when the G11's coming. Probably.
I've never even bought bundles, so I don't know how I'm gonna get code.
There you go. Games per trash. Yikes. Cold War Soda and Buggy. I don't get it. I haven't seen that many bugs. This is on a video I think I posted. Was it yesterday's vid? He posted, I haven't watched the whole video. I'm busy. But is the map survival, onslaught, or outbreak? And I'm like, this isn't even a zombies video. What the hell does this comment mean? Making an assumption before. The thumbnail has nothing to do with zombies either. So I don't know how he got that assumption it was zombies related. Nothing to do with it. Made a 12-minute video about a content that could have been explained 4 minutes. Yeah, I'm not subbing to this shit channel. And I'm like, I guess it's not known by now that when I make videos, I don't just talk about one thing. I kind of recap everything for that day or for, whatever topics they are. Whatever. There's also timestamps, so feel free to scroll through and skip the topic you want to hear about. I guess they don't use them, though. I always find that funny. If anybody argues, the video is too long or, it's a stretched video. If a video was like 8:01 or something, yeah, I get somebody. I never post videos that are that length, but you can skip the topic you want to hear about if that's what you want. It's like, use timestamps, bro. I
don't get all the people who don't use timestamps. What are they doing?
It's pure laziness at this point. I see big channels that also make videos that go over multiple things. Why aren't you using timestamps? Is it a lazy thing?
And for tutorials as well. Like
that's terrible. That is terrible. Yeah, if you don't use timestamps, it's like if you're not putting effort into your thumbnails, commentary, gameplay, titles. I mean, dude, you have plenty of time to
use
timestamps. Or even an idea. Yeah. Plenty of time to use timestamps. Yesterday's video, don't show your face, please. And I'm like, damn, bro, I forgot that before we were born, we were able to choose how we look and how we sound. Like, goddamn. I also changed it up a little bit. Every like once a week, I'll make a face cam video just for fun, just to change up the pace a little bit. But again, don't show your face, please. All right.
No, please don't show your face.
Oh,
anymore.
please don't. Yeah.
Actually, turn off webcam right now. Actually, this is outrageous.
Yeah, turn off right now. What is this comment that Sean posted?
Showing too much skin.
Showing too much skin. Oh, it's not Prestige's video. Call of Duty Warzone Nuke Event full playthrough. And one of the comments is you play with DK. That's a pretty cool comment. Thanks to Sean for putting that in there. But yeah, that wraps up our segment this week of Who Are These People? Again, Matt, if you have any that you can pull up off the top of your head, or if you have a picture, feel free to go ahead and read them real quick. Let me know if you have any.
I mean, all I need to do is go to recent comments, and there's always something.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah. Feel free to post screenshots in our group chat. I'll gladly pull them up.
Well, I'm just looking on my phone.
Kill Will, much love for that comment. Thank you. Jessup, thank you for that as well.
Someone commented on my video about Activision being sued, trying to figure out who the fuck asked.
Trying to figure out. Okay, well, clearly they asked for watching the video. That's pretty funny.
Someone commented on our entire entire zombie storyline. With every minute, my brain is being made into a smoothie more and more.
What the heck? Who are these people commenting this? Like,
someone commented, is it too late for Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer? They are trying to gain money and low people will play it. And if they don't, real easy something new company will lose fans.
What? What does that mean? Somebody just commented, go to the Lex's video. His fans are brain dead. Yikes. Holy shit.
Go to who? Alexa?
Lex, Mr. Lexify. To be fair, his titles don't ever make sense. Like, nothing against him, but you want to talk about actual clickbait? A lot of his titles are literally bait that nothing to do with the video. I find that hilarious. No shade, though. Just an observation. I like Lex, but his fans said the Posh was bad, or PPSH, and Speed Cola needed a buff. What? I don't know about that one, Chief. To be fair, though, anybody's defense about the full storyline video, it's a lot to take in, but it's the absolute best storyline video you can watch with everything being covered. Again, it's like, oh, you could have, simplified it or just cut the campaign stuff out. Sure. But I think in terms of the entire storyline, absolutely everything, that's what we had a goal to actually accomplish. Or that's what the goal was when making that video, was to cover absolutely everything. So it might take you, 1 or 2 viewings to understand everything, and you might not ever understand all of it, but at least everything is covered there. We can always say that we have a video that's absolutely everything covered when it comes to all connections to campaigns, to this and that. Any other comments though from your end, Matt? Anything you can find?
It's kind of freezing right now.
So your computer hard crashed earlier, huh? That's fucking crazy.
Because I had a lot of stuff up. I was trying to do my video.
Editing while on the podcast. Look at G shit, dude.
Someone commented, yo, the DIE can suck the zombies in the ammo holding the L trigger. For Xbox, uses zombies as ammo when you're close enough. Dude, the dogs don't even go up in fires anymore. Suck them right into the gun. Way better than the ray gun.
What are these
This
deep
was only
conversations
a day
about
ago.
Just suck a brain.
deep conversations about the Die Wonder weapon, man? God damn.
They didn't know it could suck, apparently.
So how did they get ammo for? They waited for max ammo rounds? Like, what were they
Someone
doing?
commented on my video about Captain Price's father trying to kill Mason. Fake.
Okay, Operation Cryptus was like, again, solidified in
Real.
Firebase. It's real. It's a real operation. Okay. Firebase intel
Someone
confirms it again.
commented, make Advanced Warfare 2 or Ghost 2, or I'm switching to Capcom to play Rainbow Six Siege 8 #village.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Well, Ubisoft makes Rainbow Six. And Capcom makes
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil. I think this.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's spelled. Oh my god.
That's wow. That's all I want to say.
Someone commented that ad was so lame.
Oh, your sponsorship. It's people that hate on sponsorships. It's like, don't you want creators that you like to watch to do well financially?
No,
It's
they
like,
want us to be homeless.
or we could go get a real job, bro. Even though we pay heavy taxes, I guess it doesn't classify as a job, right? I don't know. What's
Someone
up with
commented,
that?
this guy's accent is so annoying. Turns out
Can
you
you
can
choose-
just kill this stupid shepherd dog water before he grabs his gun.
What? Separate dog water.
It's funny how you all say he will lose the case when he needs the proof that his photos were before MDub and Warzone. Bro, there's loads of people commenting on my video about the photographer who photoed Mara, about how like he has a case, and everyone's saying that I'm wrong and biased and all this stuff. I mean, for one,
Oh, the
basically
lawsuit with
Activision-
Mara's. I know what you're talking about. The lawsuit with.
Well, here's the
Mara's-
thing: the clothes that she's wearing are similar to the ones in the photos, but she wears those clothes in real life anyway. And also, she was the one apparently who contacted Activision. Like, they didn't even reach out to her. It's like, what sort of grounds do you have to sue?
Yeah,
Like when
there's some weird cases going on, man, lately with Activision and Warzone, and now Alex Zedra. Yeah, I see the connection, but it's like, the fuck, man.
it's not even about like what's necessarily legal. Like, it isn't the same as like what's right. Or
But
what's,
her
you know,
likeliness is very consistent across all of her appearances. She's always wearing the same tactical shit, and
apparently
she's
it's
always
it's likeness, not likeliness. I said that in my
likeness.
video as well.
Oops. Yeah, grammar police. It's like, dude, I had a cool comment yesterday because I made a mistake, and you guys probably know about this. I made a bundle video.
My
the
video
other day.
has over 1 million views now, and I say it wrongly.
Fuck. Yeah, I posted a video about all the bundles coming out in Cold War, and I confused the MAC-10 for the Milano, KSP for the MP5. Simple mistake. I did it again yesterday with the M60 for the Stoner. Quick mistake. And I'm like, brain fart, man. And somebody commented, oh, wow, a YouTuber making a mistake. I guess you guys are not allowed to make mistakes or something. I'm like, yeah, thank you for saying that, because, again, mistakes happen. But is that big of a deal? It's like mixing one skin for another. There's bigger issues in the world going on right now that are worth more attention. But I got quite a bit of flack in my recent video when I confused some weapons. I'm like, dude, is it that serious, bro? It's like, damn, it's just whatever. It's another gun. Cool. They're both just as good as each other. So the grammar police, bro. That's another thing. Correcting mispronunciations. Like, it happens, man. Come on. There's some tough names to read in this franchise sometimes. It happens. Chill out.
Yeah, you also said Antonov wrong in
Antonov
yesterday's.
instead of Anatov, or what? Yeah, like okay, like
No, you said Anatov. It's Antonov.
Antonov. I said it. I think I said it again in my videos the wrong way. Okay, it's again. It's like what do we lose when we say it wrong, right? It's like we try our best to read it, but whatever.
Yeah, as long as you know what you're talking about. But
yeah,
you know,
for sure. Again, it's like it's one thing to talk about false information, another thing to mispronounce things or to confuse one up and for another. It's like it's a big difference in content style. But any other comments, Matt, before we wrap up the segment?
Let me get some up.
Do you have a time lapse majority or no?
I don't. Sadly, I capped on it.
It's all good.
This week again.
We'll do one next week. All good. Yeah, we'll see if any other comments from this lad.
Seriously, they're already releasing a new effing Call of Duty in November. WTF? What? It's every single year.
When do they not drop a Call of Duty in November? Where do these come from?
I guess they did October for 2 years, but who cares?
Fair enough. But yeah, that wraps up this week's segment of Who Are These People? Once again, t-shirts representing the meme are down below. Thank you, Austin Thompson. Much love to you, buddy. Do you think they'll end up making a hybrid of survival and outbreak for future maps for future Treyarch titles, or they always be separate modes? And where's grief? So, first part of your question, a hybrid of survival and outbreak, I definitely think that's possible. I mean, if they do a round-based system for each individual outbreak region, that's a lot of content if they end up releasing that. I mean, it reminds me of the Tortured Path from World War II, where Tortured Path itself wasn't great, but World War II fans highly praised the individual survival maps that did drop as a part of DLC 3. It was 3 survival maps you were able to play on with Pack-a-Punch, Mystery Box. Those maps get praised quite a bit by a lot of the World War II zombies community. So I think seeing the outbreak regions be turned into individual survival maps can really bring that to another level. And it reminds me of what I said before, where I'm like, look, for years now, since Black Ops 2 at least, people were saying, we need simple survival maps. We can have our Easter egg experiences, but let's also release basic survival maps just there for gameplay, nothing else. And we got that exactly in Black Ops Cold War with Onslaught. I know it's PlayStation exclusive, so it's frustrating, but we have that now. You can just play basic zombies with no Easter eggs on the multiplayer maps, and that's great. So bringing that to Outbreak would work a lot. Also, for future Treyarch titles, I definitely think, as Matt brought up earlier, TGR, he was like, look, Outbreak is changing zombies as we know it forever. Treyarch wants to continue updating it for years. They want to maybe reincorporate it in their next game. So I definitely think Outbreak's going to be kind of the focus of zombies at some point in the future. If people are like, oh, that's not good. Well, look, if Outbreak gets added in the future with more depth, more quests, Easter eggs, cutscenes, I think people will slowly be able to transition from survival to this new open world experience. It could work. It might take a couple of games, but it'll happen. And he also asked about where's grief. I'll leave it to Matt with this one and Fajardi. How do you guys think grief would work in Colder? Would it be played on the Machina Firebase? Would it be played on the multiplayer maps? Would it be played on Outbreak? All the above? Go ahead and take that away.
I mean, it makes perfect sense now that we have Requiem and Omega. I don't know why we don't have it. I mean, even on Outbreak, they could have some sort of grief mode on Outbreak where they could have 2 different teams at different regions, maybe, and they're like racing, maybe who does the objective first or something. I don't know. There's different things they could definitely do in this game. And with Firebase Z, they could have 1 team spawn in the village, 1 in the base. I think grief could definitely work. I'm surprised. I don't know. Like, what other modes are we going to see? Because they released Cranked and Jingle Hells, which weren't that great. Cranked was okay. And then we've seen Outbreak. But I can't help but feel like we're not going to see any other modes, even though they said there's a lot planned. But I don't really know if they're still going to be releasing new Outbreak maps. We've not seen any other modes, though, like little side modes. I think we should see more Outbreak variants. I think that's something we should see, but I don't even think they have the regular Outbreak perfected, so they probably need to figure that out first.
No,
by the way, another comment. I know we've moved past this topic now, but someone commented, this dude is on crack. Cold War made about 1/3 of Modern Warfare 2. Cold War is garbage, too cartoon-like, movement is clunky. That's where they are using Modern Warfare 2 engine going forward. And then they linked to an article saying Black Ops Cold War sales were a lot slower than Modern Warfare. Why did he keep saying Modern Warfare 2? That's not even the same game. Like,
one hoax we're going to talk about is the whole engine bullshit. The reason they're going to reuse what Modern Warfare is built on is because of Warzone. That's just the way it goes.
Who are these people saying that Modern Warfare is faster? and
It's
smoother.
not.
I don't
And,
get it.
and the thing with Cold War sales is Cold War outperformed Modern Warfare in many avenues in a shorter period of time, even after the Warzone influx last March. So Cold War is actually doing very, very well, exceeding expectations. But what do sales mean? It's all about, it's a subjective viewpoint of, oh, what game's better. It's like people that use sales are hypocritical because, look at World War II sales. Fantastic. A lot of people talk shit about the game all the time. So it's like, okay, what do sales mean? It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Do you want to bring up the fact that Activision are getting all of the other studios now to just solely work on Call of Duty?
I actually had that as
Because
one of the topics. One of the topics was another Warzone map. We already touched on kind of Cold War Year 2, COD 2021 debunking. We'll touch on that as well. But the whole thing with all the studios working on Call of Duty now is there's a rumor that got posted by Call of Duty Hope, I think it was yesterday, stating that another map aside from Verdansk is in development. He's not sure if it's a big scaled map or if it's a rebirth scaled map, a little bit smaller. So with every studio now working on Call of Duty, does that mean it's for Warzone, or are they going to spread things out so that more content can come to multiplayer, zombies? That's worth asking. And also, how many Call of Duties are in development? Is it more free-to-play titles, or is it their main releases every fall? First, Fajardi, what do you think about every studio kind of taking charge now with COD?
I definitely think it makes sense in the current timeline we are with Call of Duty, because obviously it's doing probably the best for all of Activision right now, because Overwatch is not doing too good anymore.
What happened to the
because
sequel to that game? Did that
it's
drop?
coming out soon. It's coming out soon, but that's more Blizzard anyway. I think
Right.
with Overwatch, it's Activision Blizzard, whatever you want to say it. But yeah, with all hands on deck for Call of Duty, I think more and more it's starting more plausible to see multiple years of content for, especially, I believe anyway, for Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War, which would be great. I think that would be awesome. I think it's definitely a good step in the direction, or it's a good step in the right direction.
There you go.
Good step in the right direction for the franchise, for updates and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's very good.
Yeah. And Matt, how do you feel about, how many studios is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably even more after that. How do you feel about 9 studios working on one franchise alone?
Well, I guess with the pandemic and everything, Activision just needs to put all of their attention in Call of Duty, because it makes way more sense to not take risks and just do what they know is successful, which is COD, and it's doing really well right now. So it makes sense to put all of the focus into that. At the same time, you do want to diversify, because there's going to be times in the future where COD's going to take a dip again. It's inevitable. It's not going to stay on top. It has been on top forever, but, it has taken dips, and,
Right.
World War II, and those games sold maybe 11 mil-ish copies. So, sales went down by 2/3. Revenue was
wild.
still great because of microtransactions, but, I don't know, how long are they going to be doing this for? And surely all of these developers, COD, as much as we like it, it's not exactly the most creative game in the world, you have to stick to that Call of Duty formula. And I'm sure a lot of these developers that are now being forced to work on Call of Duty, because it's not really their niche, or, it's going to be a bit creatively limiting, I guess.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a shooting game. It's not really the most elaborate game in the world. And that's why people like it, because it is so simple.
I wonder if them putting all these studios on to work on COD has to do with maybe rethinking whether or not Warzone gets a revamp with World War II Vanguard. I wonder if they're like, all right, let's get another map in development that fits the theme of that game. We got to do this every year now. We got to drop a new map or a Verdansk revamp of some sort that fits the theme and era of the current COD. So that could be one thing. Another thing could be, Euro Mountains could drop in Warzone like you were suggesting earlier. And then while maybe Euro Mountains comes out in Season 6, let's just assume. So at the end of Cold War cycle, Euro Mountains could be the main focus until next March, next April, and then a World War II Verdansk or World War II themed Warzone could drop. I'm not sure how they want to do it, but with all hands on deck now, it's could definitely help Warzone, no doubt about it. But maybe this can solve the output issue we talked about earlier with, there's a lack of 6v6 maps, there's a lack of zombies maps. Maybe all these hands on deck could help produce more in a faster amount of time. Could there be too many cooks in the kitchen to where it harms the franchise? Lots of ways to look at this, but Damn, I mean, you brought this up yourself. I think when you leaked this, I think it was like a year ago. Was Sledgehammer working on a free-to-play title? What do you think's happening with that now? Do you think that's still gonna happen, or was that a Warzone add-on?
I
Like,
really have no idea. I feel like if they're going to be doing more free-to-play stuff, they're going to have to tie it into Warzone. It doesn't make sense to have different hubs for that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
it makes sense for it to all just be accessible from Warzone's launcher. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely too many people working on it. Because if you read that article about the creation of Warzone and stuff, apparently like a lot of the Infinity War developers would always go behind the studio heads' backs and like chat shit and be like, "What the hell are they doing? This isn't proper Battle Royale." Like, have you read that article from the Washington Post?
It was a pretty lengthy article. I went through. I skimmed
that
most
just
of it,
shows
but
you these dudes just argue with each other all the time, and like
I find that really interesting. I'm like, dude. Behind the scenes, things definitely go on the community has no idea about, and I think we've heard tidbits of that over the past few years. And people don't. It's like I say, never meet your heroes. There might be people that are higher up, and they're not exactly great human beings. Things are said. I mean, people get canceled. I mean, look at Condrey and Schofield, World War II. I mean, without going in detail about what it was, there's some serious allegations made about them, and they were, and I want to say. I'm not going to say, oh, it was definitely true, but Activision got rid of them pretty quickly once those allegations dropped. So I'm assuming an investigation was done. They said, boop, gone. And then World War II actually changed for the better after that. So you never know what's going on behind the scenes, man. The moral of the story. So I think Aaron, I forgot his last name. I keep saying Aaron Halen. That's not how you say his name. Aaron something is the studio head of Sledgehammer now. He revived World War II for me. He fixed the divisions problem, really fixed up the game, made headquarters better. I think he changed the game for the better, so I'm looking forward to his leadership in this next Call of Duty. They also hired 200 plus new employees, so now they're a multi-project studio. So that's why I'm like, I guess that free-to-play title you heard about could still be in development.
It's kind of crazy though, because I mean, Warzone almost got cancelled numerous times, and now it's like the pillar of Call of Duty. Like if it never released, like things would be completely different right now. And it just shows you how little decisions can completely mess up everything. Like the decision to not make Blackout free to play, the decision to, still have a battle pass. All of these decisions, if they had made the same decisions they made with Modern Warfare, that game could have been a light and day difference. And it just sucks that Treyarch got the wrong end of the stick, really. And
I figured that
they get all of the
Crash Power is in chat right now. That is crazy. I just saw the
I was gonna say
verification.
that.
I just saw the checkmark verification. I'm like, wait a second, that's Crash Power. Dude, Crash Power. I've never got to speak before, but we actually, I mean, Matt and I think watched your content back in the day, man. We're talking Black Ops 2, Origins, Black Ops. That's crazy, man. Long time viewer of yours, man. It's been a long time. That's actually hilarious. I don't know. I don't know. You probably saw Matt's tweet. I'm like, I don't know how you found the podcast, but much appreciated. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Is he clickbaiting or is this real facts?" Huh? Is it
I think he's talking about like
what Matt was just saying
or something. I don't know.
I feel like it's what Matt was just talking about. Yeah, I don't know how you can clickbait a podcast, but I think it's what you were just talking about with anything in general.
What with the developers arguing?
I'm assuming
almost being cancelled.
Probably both, one or the other, or both.
I mean, there were talks of Warzone being cancelled multiple times because, I mean, I don't know how accurate their article is because, or the interview with Infinity Ward is because they talk like how it was planned since like 2017 and all this stuff. But as far as I'm aware, like Verdansk was originally created as separate spots as Spec Ops missions, and then they combined the map
war and all,
for Warzone.
Right.
That was what they did. They didn't just create the map and then have Spec Ops on top of it. They were originally just doing Spec Ops first. Like Modern Warfare was originally just going to be multiplayer campaign Spec Ops. Then they started, Spec Ops was going a bit wrong. They realized, wait a second, we can do something with this map. We can create a battle royale. And it's very evident.
I enjoyed Spec Ops. I remember I actually streamed it. God damn, it was so long ago now. I did Spec Ops, I think, with like Nirko and Assassin. And we ran a 3-man. Maybe a random joined us too. we actually ran through all the Spec Ops missions in Modern Warfare. I actually had a good time beating the missions themselves because it felt real open world. It was essentially Warzone, but in Spec Ops. I mean, you were jumping up with parachutes off the superstore, off big buildings downtown, doing objectives. It was enjoyable. So I think open world to me is fun, especially in Call of Duty. So if they would have expanded on that, it might have been cool. But unfortunately, it didn't work out the way they planned. Survival was a joke. So, them reusing the assets for Verdansk, I guess, made sense. But an open world mode, if done correctly, could work. It's just it wasn't executed right in Modern Warfare for whatever reason. So I understand the approach with that, but
Like, and the thing with Survival is it wasn't originally planned. They only really started doing it in like a month, 2 months before releases when they started working on it. They just quickly rushed it together. And I wonder how they managed to get PlayStation to agree to have that exclusivity deal just for Survival, because they got shafted hard. Like, at least with Onslaught, that's worthwhile content. But Survival is just a complete joke. And I mean, I guess everyone has it now, but it's kind of pointless. They didn't even release all of the maps to it, did they? I don't think.
No. That's why I was like, majority of this, I'm like, look at this.
In
Onslaught dropped everything.
We're getting every single map.
Yep, every single multiplayer was getting, and then I was like, oh, they're gonna leave out gunfight, whatever. I get it.
Released with 4 maps, didn't it? I think
way more. It was 7 or 8
survival maps, and they would have it on the roadmap as if it's content. Like
all this, Like, at least they don't see. If they showed Onslaught on the roadmap, I can guarantee you there'll be hate. They're like, oh, it's marketing just for PlayStation, blah blah blah. People will be tripping, but they don't. I told Fajari this. I'm like, look at this, right? The game launched with 7 or 8 Onslaught maps, and I was sure
Onslaught's fun.
It is. It's so much better now.
The different maps actually play differently, I think, with the different sizes and stuff.
I was
Yamantau is a lot close quarters.
It's really cool. It plays great. I was even saying, I'm like, oh, they're gonna leave out the gunfight maps. There's no way they drop Onslaught on the gunfight maps. And then out of nowhere, I was genuinely shocked by this because no leaks came out about it, which was awesome. Onslaught containment just for gunfight maps. I'm like, dude. And now we got 2 more gunfight maps: Mansion, Diesel, which they don't have Onslaught support yet, but I'm sure they will.
Yeah, they gotta add those.
Mid-season update, I'd assume.
Well, Diesel's a 66, right? So it could be added to
either one. It could be added to both, actually,
yeah.
unless they break it into a portion for containment. I'm not sure, but
I don't get why they plan to have it as a limited time mode. It makes no sense.
There's no way. I'm assuming that they've changed their mind about that. There's no way they get rid of it. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. And people that complain like, oh, Onslaught's not fun. It's like, okay, when the mode releases on Xbox and PC on November the 1st. If COD 21 doesn't have a zombies mode, if Cold War doesn't get any more updates, that's a pretty big update just for Xbox and PC with lots of Onslaught maps, Onslaught LTMs. They even confirmed another Onslaught LTM is dropping this season. We don't even know what it is, and they confirmed it. I'm like, I wonder what it could be. But it's on the blog post that they dropped recently. So I'm like, they're actually giving Onslaught some love, which I think is great. The mode plays well. It's awesome for camo grinding. It's literally what people were asking for a couple of years ago. They want basic standard survival maps just to play for fun. There are rounds. They're called surges, though. No mystery box, but you don't really need it. Spawn with the loadout, upgrade your weapon rarity, pack-a-punch, AATs now, all your perks. All they have to add at some point is wonder weapons, and boom. But they don't even need them. That's how good. But yeah, if they add that, cool. That's what I'm saying. It's like Onslaught is such a good mode, and once it's on other platforms, I think people will actually appreciate it more. And they're also guaranteeing Onslaught for every multiplayer map. Again, Survival and Modern Warfare, like you said, didn't do that. I think they dropped Survival for like maybe 70% of the maps, maybe even less than that. I don't know an exact number, but I'm just guessing. They dropped a few, but it wasn't a lot. It definitely wasn't a lot. And they didn't change anything about the mode either. They never nerfed the difficulty of the bots, the broken spawns, and they never even changed anything about it. Onslaught's gotten literal fundamental changes done to it, which is great,
Like a full rework, basically.
A full rework, like in every possible way. I remember when they fixed the loot system, and you even told me, you're like, look, the only change I would like now is with the spawns, and they literally fixed that a couple weeks later.
Yep.
Now it's fast paced, and containment's even faster.
Yeah.
So, that's that with Onslaught. I think it's a definitely a worthwhile mode. I'm glad Treyarch gave some attention to it when they were able to. But yeah, in terms of Call of Duty 2023, what do you think, Matt, about the fact we might have to cover a Sledgehammer game and then an Infinity Ward game before we get another Treyarch title? How do you think that's going to be for our channels, the future of Call of Duty content creation? What do you think that's going to affect having to wait another 2.5 years for a Treyarch game?
I mean, I think it's very obvious now that they're going to move to an entirely free-to-play games as a service model. And by that point, what are they going to do? Because will they just have like all of the studios working on one game,
Just Call
or
of
they could
Duty,
have
a subscription
like
service.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
unless they have
That'd be
like different segments of the game, so you could play like it's all just part of one application, but you have
yeah.
different segments in it. I don't know, but I feel like that's inevitable. I don't know how long these
Paid models.
$60
Yeah,
games. And you know what's
right.
also bad about that? You know, so it's $60 in the US. You know, it's £60 in the UK. Even so, it's like the same price, even though like our
Huh.
currency is worth
That's okay. That's
less.
interesting. Somebody asked, any word on the
Like we pay a lot
flamethrower?
more
No
for
word on it yet.
stuff.
We have 3 kill streaks coming: K9 unit, flamethrower, hand cannon, which is the annihilator.
Why is the flamethrower not out yet? It was on the season 1.
There must have been a mistake
What?
on somebody's end, but yeah, those 3 kill streaks are done, ready to go. And I'm assuming next season we'll see. I've got the strafe run already because I know that was like very vaguely rumored and ended up coming out sooner than we thought. So maybe next season we'll see the K9 unit or something. Hand cannon's going to be interesting. That's going to be like a guaranteed nuke, right? You drop 7 kills or 8 kills with your regular weapon, 10 kills war machine, 10 kills death machine, 10 kills on a hand cannon. Boom, there's your nuke right there. That'll be a big cheat in multiplayer. Anyway, though, like you were saying with the free to play model, Call of Duty Mobile, which I don't get to talk about enough. I wish I would, but Call of Duty Mobile has also broken records beyond belief. So I definitely think the free to play model is very fascinating, but encourages more predatory microtransaction models. So it's kind of a pro and con here. You got our trade offs with having a free to play game, but then you have a lot of MTX shoved in your face. What do you think about that? Do you think if they went free to play, completely like COD Online, would we just see more bundles and more, paywall level experiences? What do you think? Or would that be better for the community?
I don't really know. It's hard to really tell what the future of COD is right now, and I don't know how they're even figuring it out because they intend for Warzone to be supported for years to come. But it's inevitable Battle Royale is not going to be around forever, So like sometime within the next 10 years, it'll fall off.
Yeah.
Which is why I think they should just have one hub for free to play content. Which is why I think I don't know. I think they're going to add a zombies mode into Warzone itself at some point. I feel like that's going to be a thing, and that's probably going to be where we see this free to play zombies game.
It could work.
I just don't know in terms of like engine logistics and all of that how that's going to work. But technology is constantly improving. It's going to get crazy.
I wonder where would Battle Royale be if Warzone didn't exist? Would Fortnite still be carrying the weight, or would Battle Royale have already faded a little bit into oblivion? That's something that I think it's worth thinking about.
Honestly, I feel like Warzone hits a different audience.
Yeah, I think Warzone definitely caters more.
For sure.
Yeah, it definitely caters to a more competitive, hardcore audience. And again, first person shooter versus Fortnite, which is not. So I get that too. But he said Apex would be carrying things. Would it though? I mean, Apex still does good, but I mean, is it at a level that Warzone, or could it have been?
I don't really hear anything about it or hear about I follow everyone on Twitter.
Right.
When it dropped, everyone was talking about it. I barely see anyone talking about Apex on Twitter nowadays. And I know it is a bit of a bubble, but I used to see everyone talking about it, and now I never see anyone.
Our famous conversation. When did Apex come out again? When was this? Was this during the Black Ops? I think it was during the Black Ops 4 season. At some point, right?
I remember 4 months after Warzone came out, someone mentioned Apex Legends, and I honestly forgot it even existed.
I know. I remember when it first got announced.
Someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that game came out."
Do you remember when it first got announced? I was getting 100 views a video. I was making blackout bangers with majority, right? And I remember Matt called me. He's like, "Bro, ditch COD. Apex is the future. It's over, dude. You got to start covering Apex." And I didn't even know what the game was. I swear to God, bro. I remember I sat in my chair and I was like, "What the hell is Apex?" I didn't even know what the game was. And you're telling me to jump ship, and you made 3 videos on it, like a Lock This Monster.
Oh my God! Go onto Google Trends. Right, I just went onto Google Trends. Wow,
let me pull up your Apex Legends.
So Apex Legends launch. Oh my God, Warzone. Right now, this is pretty crazy statistics. So Apex's launch was almost 3 times
higher than
any
Warzone?
peak in Warzone.
Oh,
yeah, but
so you had a reason.
Warzone. but then it dipped like straight away, and it's been lower than.
It's
Warzone
because
ever
season
since.
1 of
So,
Apex
like,
didn't drop for so long, though. If you remember, I remember it being such a wait.
dude,
And
that is insane how much hype this game had at the start, though. Look at that.
until
Look at
Apex becomes Titanfall 3.
this
Oh,
graph.
we need a Titanfall 3, dude. But
The reason why Apex had the hype it did on release is because every single big
No,
stream-
Warzone's actually
they were
just had
playing
its
it.
peak, I guess, because of the nuke.
yeah, Apex, on top of Titanfall 2 being a solid game, a lot of, like you said, Battle Royale streamers, or just streamers in general, gave Apex a shot, boosted its popularity significantly. Fortnite might have
Pretty
had
sure
a
they're all
down
paid to
period.
play it. I think it was all ads.
True. But Fortnite might have had a down period as well, potentially at that time. So Apex kind of picked up the slack a little bit. But because, see, this is about player retention now. And this is what COD does that I never feel like Battlefield could ever pull off. COD keeps that player retention going. They ensure they have some pretty frequent updates. Even Black Ops 3, for example, it's only got 4 map packs, one every 3 months-ish. Even Black Ops 3 had player retention because they made sure when the map pack would drop, it'd be a fucking banger. But with Apex, right, Season 1 took so long to release that there might have been a drop-off. And Season 1 wasn't great either. I remember the trailer coming out and people were like, wow, that's it? Battle Pass sucked. The map update wasn't good or whatever. And it took a little while for Apex to have a real proper new map, good map updates, good weapons, skins, whatever. So the more you wait, and it's like, oh, quality over quantity, you let them take their time. Yeah, take their time, make good content. But then the longer you wait, the fewer players are going to be sticking around. So that's why somebody made a point earlier, like Fajardi was saying, it's like, if you drop Berlin during Season 5, how many players are going to be left waiting for that map in the zombies mode? It's like, at that point, multiplayer and wars are going to be carrying Cold War, not even zombies. So, got to keep the momentum going as frequent as possible.
The images in the group chat.
Let me pull that up. Let me see.
Fortnite's still high, though, but I guess it is dipping.
Yeah, Fortnite. I think Fortnite could be around for a while, but you know, I wonder. Wait, you put in? Did you put?
I'm
in
guessing that peak was a live event.
Oh, you put it on Twitter.
in the
group chat.
Twitter one.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick. Yeah. So, player retention is definitely a must. Here are the images, chat. Yeah, so damn, Apex had a massive spike, and yeah, like Vajari says, probably the ads, all the paid streamers that promoted it for so long. That's probably what it was. I mean, I think Chopper got sponsored by Apex like 2 days ago. I saw something in my recommended that came up, so I think Apex is still sponsoring channels to promote what's going on. So, you
I think
know,
it's just too late now. They got screwed because like they had such a good launch, like an insane launch.
they just couldn't keep up with the updates.
They just
man.
struggled to retain that audience.
Activision knows how to retain that
everyone's
audience.
left, people aren't going to go back now that there's Warzone. So
And people have claimed Apex got sweatier as well. So I mean, any battle royale will get like that over time. So, you know, that's why I was looking forward to like a new map in Warzone. You get Euro Mountains when everybody's clueless about how the map works. It's easier to actually have fun gameplay wise. When everybody knows Verdansk in and out, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have more people that know strategies, where to camp, where to snipe. So things like that get frustrating. But Crash said, I think free to play is much better than the traditional pre-order 6 months before a title's release, because if the game does not work at launch, they're screwed. Yeah, I mean, real quickly, look at Cyberpunk, for example, a game that I think Fajardi was going to invest in at one point. He might have wanted to try it.
Yeah, I was always going to buy it later because I didn't want to buy it at the start because I didn't really have that much interest in playing it. But
Yeah.
well, I'm glad I didn't buy it at the start.
Just look at, like, I cannot believe how early that game was revealed years ago, bro. We're talking years.
Almost 10 years.
How
yeah.
in the actual hell did they screw that up the way they did? I don't understand that. And the PR was horrible post launch as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, something went terribly wrong with that game. I'm not sure if this is true, so don't quote me on it. But I heard something about like the actual like making of the game didn't start until like 2018.
What?
Like actually putting it into play.
Yeah,
that could be wrong though. I feel I'm pretty sure I heard that.
I also would see. It's surprising, but at the same time, it's not. It's like the games industry. I saw a tweet earlier today saying the game industry needs a reset. And in terms of how these companies run the show, how these games are being play tested, they got to figure something out, man. I mean, Halo Infinite, another example. The only game that was going to be exclusive on the Series X for that console's launch got delayed by like almost a year because of indefinite amount of issues, no pun intended. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I think a game like Cyberpunk, it's like the way they marketed the game so heavily. They had Keanu Reeves, that all this build up, and it's like, what? I was genuinely surprised when I saw the reception of that game being broken and things not working properly. I'm like, what? How did that happen? I mean, I don't get it, man. But Tom Henderson's in chat, man. What's going on? Maybe we'll have him on a future episode at some point if he's available. Somebody was asking about if the Battlefield Battle Royale exists, where does that leave Apex for EA? That's a good point, man, because you'd have one publisher running the show with two different Battle Royales. Would they keep updating Apex? Probably. But again, if Battlefield's Battle Royale doesn't perform as well, it does similar to Firestorm, then, hey, I don't know. But I think a lot of publishers are looking at how they can respond to Activision's Warzone right now. So we'll be seeing a lot of Warzone competitors pop up. Some already have. We're going to see more of those.
Dude, I just looked at Google Trends. So Black Ops Cold War is way below Modern Warfare.
Still.
And COD Mobile is now doing better than Black Ops Cold War in searches.
Send the image when you get a chance. I want to see that one. That's, It is what it is, man. It's... I still see that
COD Mobile is pretty huge because I think like it hits a big audience in like China and India and stuff.
Oh, big time. People that don't have great internet, in other places around the world.
Pretty big over there.
Yeah, mobile gaming is a little bit easier than console.
I mean, how did they download it? It's a pretty big download, isn't it?
I mean, but then it's a one and done thing. I mean, you update the app every once in a while, but it's not like a 30 gigabyte patch like fucking
for a few months.
Yeah, for a few months. Yeah. Yeah, Tom Henderson's in chat. It's funny because he's been going over a lot of Battlefield information lately, and I think a lot of people are really optimistic about how the game's going to run. A lot of people do believe Battlefield 6 can outdo World War II Vanguard, and I'm like, sales-wise, that'd be very, very tough to pull off. I mean, is it possible? Sure, but they'd have to really screw up Vanguard in many different avenues. Marketing, gameplay. They'd have to screw up that game heavily for Battlefield to take over, but hey, maybe the fact that Battlefield doesn't have a yearly cycle could mean that Battlefield 6, or whatever the game is called, can perform a lot better than previous ones. Battlefield can bring some hype back. Well, we'll see. We'll see how they do it. I'm optimistic about it. But, somebody said it won't outdo Vanguard. Yeah, I mean, I just think the fact that Sledgehammer's making a return after a bit of a hiatus, that's going to build some hype. World War II was a really solid experience, so that's probably why Activision's like, we got to do a sequel to that one. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a straightforward World War II experience. People are like, oh, what about a game where World War II never ended, kind of an alternate timeline? That sounds great. We've talked about that before. We've theorized about it. There's some rumors about it, but it looks like it's just going to be just a World War II game
It's
again.
Got to be the zombie stuff. That's going to be how they do the storyline.
Yeah.
Which I guess, theoretically speaking, is technically the war being extended, because the Nazis are just in the dark ether. Like, everyone thinks the war's over, but they're just hiding.
Yeah. Lasco 1125
I just don't know. Like,
wants a thumbs up. Thumbs up to Lasco, dude. There you go, buddy. But Battlefield will have the retention. COD Secret is the yearly release. I mean, yeah, not only is the yearly release, but it's also just the post-launch updates, roadmaps, DLC maps, modes, new weapons. It's like COD just keeps that momentum going every goddamn year. Even the old model with season passes still kept the momentum going. And now with the new model, it's even faster when it comes to the post-launch content. So, if a game could pull that off with the budget Activision has, then we'll see a true competitor to COD one day. But right now, it's like it doesn't exist the way I look at it. But yeah, to kind of wrap things up, any other topics that we haven't addressed, feel free to put them in chat. Matt, if anything you want to go over real quickly, feel free. Let me know if we missed anything.
Well, what I was going to say is, if they do have World War II Vanguard tying in via all the zombie stuff, and I guess that's why the Nazi zombies were on Verdansk, like, I don't know, like, what is the campaign going to be? Is it going to be, like, secret Nazi operations, like how they went into the dark ether? But, like, how would they do a campaign based around the zombie stuff? It would be so different to anything they've done.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if that's in the same timeline as Cold
technically,
War, how does that go now? It's like that's campaign-wise.
It's got to be. There's no way it can't. But then they could have people like Reznov involved and familiar characters, for nostalgia reasons.
Right.
They could fill some holes in.
Battlefield seems to be current gen only, so they're already at a massive disadvantage. That's a huge L That's a huge L. And by current gen, you mean PS4, Xbox One, I'm assuming, right? I mean, even though current gen's now PS5, Series X. But, or unless he actually meant just current gen, PS5, Xbox One, or Xbox Series X, not PS4. Maybe that's what Tom meant. We need clarification on that. But yeah, that is a disadvantage for sure, player base wise. That'll be strange. Don't worry about Battlefield content. They've learned their lesson. Well, yeah, well, let's see how they pull it off. I want to hear what are Tom's thoughts about potentially only seeing 2 more traditional zombies maps in Cold War, or are more planned past year 1. I want to hear what Tom's thoughts are on zombies content. Yeah, PS5, Xbox Series X. Yeah, that is a disadvantage because the console sold well, but you're getting rid of PS4 and Xbox One so soon. That's gonna hurt some sales, bro. Yeah, that's something. That is something. But he said Outbreak tonight. Outbreak egg tonight. Why tonight? Huh? On a Friday? Where did that come from?
What happens on Blackout tonight with Buddy Ryan? I
am gonna finish the gunfight tournament tonight.
DOA 3.
Downloading Blackout on PS5 again, and yeah, definitely some DOA 3 with Prestige, and Sean has to still beat it. Thank you so much, Sean, for the $5 donation. I just missed the message that came up on it. He said, "Oh, sweating gunfight tonight." Yeah, I actually do want to beat it tonight. I have a video that's pretty much near completion. I want to put that up soon, and then I want to definitely
should drop a Dead Ops trailer and call it a new map.
Bro, I was actually, you know what? I was actually genuinely surprised we didn't see any Dead Ops marketing, considering how big the mode is and how much they've updated it since launch. I'm surprised they didn't market it a little bit more.
I think when they added first-person Dead Ops, they should have dropped a trailer. I feel like people don't even
100%.
notice it in the menus.
Yeah, and it's permanent as well, confirmed permanent. Tom did say, I think it's just 2 more maps. Yeah, so I think that's how it goes, Chad. Double Tap's going to be coming with the Outbreak Egg. 2 more perks after that, representing 2 more traditional maps, Berlin, and then this supposed DLC 4. That could be it. I wonder if remasters can fall, fall into the mix next year.
I think we really need
That's
Mule
crazy.
Kick pretty soon, because especially for Outbreak,
Kind of need 3 weapons, yeah.
like with you being able to get all the wonder weapons.
Wow. That's
Well,
something.
they could make it so maybe you could like press a button and it's like you've only got 2 weapons, like so you never, and then you have to like press a button to like bring it back out, like.
Interesting.
Because the problem with Mule Kick is like it takes longer to switch to your other weapons. So then if you're out of ammo,
what if you hold
you have to
triangle?
then switch between 2 other weapons.
Maybe you can hold triangle
think,
to get your third weapon. Or does that do something already? No,
Because they have that in Destiny, I think, to get to your 3rd weapon. I don't know why they've never introduced.
And fun
that
fact, you used to be a
feature.
Destiny player, didn't you? Like Destiny 1, I think, right? Or 2. You play a lot of Destiny back
I
in
used
the
to post a bit, but not really.
day. Yeah, so Wonderfish Chat does give us a hint at least 3 more main quests coming. 1 for Outbreak, 2 more for 2 traditional zombies maps. Battle Royale probably won't come to next year. Crash. Oh, he's talking about for Battlefield, I think. Yeah, it's a delicate situation. I figured. But yeah, that's not really surprising to me. I think that makes a lot of sense. Content-wise, but yeah, maybe Mule Kick. I mean, yeah, they can even do Mule Kick now with Outbreak Saga and then Double Tap later. But Double Tap just seems to be like it's the next perk with all the teasers they've dropped across multiplayer and whatnot.
I mean, we're gonna be so overpowered with Double Tap.
But just think about being overpowered after
That's gonna
all the other
completely
perks
change
release.
up the meta.
Yeah, but what about when all the other perks release and get tier 5 on all those perks? Imagine how overpowered everything's gonna feel. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And there's probably more field upgrades coming. There's at least 1 more field upgrade, I believe. It's called Lightning Links.
Well, they've been doing 1 per season, haven't they? There's 2 more left.
When did the other one drop?
Frenzied Guard
There's
was
2 more left, I'm sure.
with Outbreak. I'm pretty sure.
Frenzy Guard was your Outbreak. Didn't 1 more just drop recently? That was an 8. I can't remember what just dropped now.
Yeah, that was the start of season 3. Toxic Outbreak or
Toxic
Growth.
Growth. Right. Toxic Growth, and Frenzy Guard. Lightning Links is on the same list of upcoming field upgrades. That was a
There was
pre-release.
another one, wasn't there?
Not that I remember, but maybe there is.
I mean, Lightning Links is probably just going to be Deadwire.
Yeah, what does that even
Which,
mean? Lightning Links. Unless they've nerfed Deadwire because Lightning
Wait.
Links is essentially a Wonderwaff AAT. I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, it'll literally just be the same thing. I reckon.
Very, very interesting. That's actually crazy. Lots of content on the way, though, chat. Still lots of content on the way. I'm looking forward to all of it. No shot. That's Warzone News. Oh, is
I do
Warzone
wish
News?
if
Oh,
on
Warzone News is in
Outbreak
here. Warzone News is in chat.
I don't think
Controversial.
that's real.
You don't think it's the real account? He said, according to my sources, and it makes the most
According-
sense. Wait, what does?
What's coming?
They need to add
Oh.
choppers and Outbreak.
Oh, Modern Warfare.
Oh,
2
you was talking about
or
Modern Warfare 3 Remastered multiplayer. Yeah, we didn't get to touch on it too much tonight, but as I've said many times, I'm like, look, dude, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer doesn't make sense to me. Why? How do they monetize that experience like they did Modern Warfare 1 Remastered? There's no more supply drops, so can't do that. You can't really have a battle pass in that. Maybe you could, but what is that? Temporary content, once per season. They already have 3 active games going at once: Cold War, Modern Warfare, Warzone. We saw this before, 2016, with Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare 1 Remastered. 3 is kind of the limit for how many active CODs they want at once. So releasing the Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer would break the player base, even though they have enough people to probably go around for every game. Still wouldn't be smart financially. It's a good safety net for when a game flops, but is that going to really happen? I mean, at this point,
Surprised they haven't dropped Modern Warfare 3's campaign yet.
which is done apparently, so I'm assuming that'll drop any day now. That could be, during Season 3 would be poetic. Season 3, Modern Warfare 3, I think that would be a bit poetic this
I mean,
season. to
surely
drop
they
it.
got a big just chunk of money that came in from that.
Oh, the campaign remaster,
Like,
sure.
it
for
doesn't
Modern
make
Warfare 2.
sense.
Sure. But I definitely think Modern Warfare 3 Remastered is right around the corner. It's campaign only. And the soap bundle is probably going to drop with that, similar
I
to
think
Ghost.
Activision need to buy more studios.
Well, just to get more games done.
Yeah, especially if they're moving them all for COD. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, surely they need to be diverse.
I mean, we need a remaster for World at War and Black Ops 1, first of all. They're still canon to Black Ops Cold War, so let's get those games remastered. World at War multiplayer, top tier, big fan. Black Ops 1, same
should
thing,
release
but
an hour-long story recap.
they're probably just going to remaster the campaigns going forward. I mean, there was even a rumor about COD 1, 2, and 3, the originals, being remastered at some point. Very short games, by the way, so they could do a trilogy of that. I mean, I think remasters for Call of Duty are definitely going to happen more in the future, but I think they're going to limit them to just campaigns. I don't think the multiplayers they want to. I don't think that's something that they would want to do. Somebody even said, "Oh, what if you delay Vanguard and release Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer?" It's not that simple, dude. I mean, would that really would that have player retention for a full year? As much people think, I don't think so, man. I just think that's the case.
Thing is, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster still feels smooth, even though it's like outdated.
It's an
movement.
it's outdated engine for sure.
Like, I don't know.
And then how would that work for PS5
Like,
now?
I don't even know what.
How do you release that on next gen consoles or current gen consoles now? How do you work those outdated remasters? Do you enhance them again? I mean, it was already almost outdated on PS4, so imagine PS5. I mean, it's a little confused on
What engine
where
was
that
it
would
even
fit.
made on? Like,
It was 2018, I think, and it's dropped in 2020.
like Advanced Warfare.
I think it was the Modern Warfare 1 engine or style of gameplay, or something like that. So yeah, already seeing outdated gameplay there. The Dirty Bomb Squad, yeah, man, we'll play some Fryer Team soon. Got to play a lot more of that.
And this podcast has been going on for a while. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
again, Chad, this is the longest podcast we've done since it started. I can't believe we're on episode 7 already. It's been 7 weeks, nearly 2 months of this podcast. Time has flown by. I say this to Matt all the time, and I'm sure he agrees. For some reason, life of a content creator is very weird because the year has flashed by before my eyes. Just yesterday, the pandemic hit. I'm like, wow, it's March. Shit. We're already about to be in May. I'm like, dude, of
I
another
think
year.
everyone feels like that, though.
Yeah, a lot of people may feel
Especially-
maybe it was the pandemic that did that, but I don't know. Something with content, it's like I have a routine down of how I make my videos, when I do my streams, and it just feels like time is just going by, man. Years are going by quick. It's crazy. What do you feel about that, Matt? Do you feel like time's going by, or is it just a little normal for you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know, because January just was like right around the corner.
Yeah, New Year's was like yesterday,
It's
dude.
about to be May already.
Right. Where's the combined arms
I guess
map?
it's because we do the. Go on.
They're still in the game. You have to go to quick play though. Scroll down to combined arms mosh pit. They took out Crossroads combined arms for some bugs though. But what were you saying though? Because of what?
But yeah, I guess because we're under the same routine every day, we just wake up, think about what vid we're doing or whatever, make it.
Yeah,
go
no,
to
it's
sleep.
like I finished one vid. I'm already thinking about the next one. That's how that's how content creation goes. Where's the Fire Team Battle Royale mode? It's coming mid-season. confirmed for season 3 Reloaded. Which
That's gonna be so good.
I'm so excited for that. You have no idea. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, this about wraps everything up, chat. Also, a quick announcement. We have this stage feature on Discord in my server, we'll link in the description, where as of right now, members only can enter the stage section and raise their hand to answer a question. It's a pretty cool feature where, we can do a live Q&A and have it organized where nobody's talking over each other. We can pick and choose people to ask questions live. I would try it now, but we'll probably deep into this podcast. We're going to save it for next week. But right now it's open to just members only. So join the Discord server down in the description. The stage feature is open to anybody who's a member. And you can actually click on the stage option to be in this waiting room of sorts. You can hear us talk and then click a raise your hand feature so that we can select one person at a time to come in the room and answer some questions. What do you think of EDP 445? Without going off... Oh, yeah. What he said, fist bump. Yeah, without going off on anything too sensitive for YouTube's monetization terms of service, I will say that it is crazy to see that people with big reputations are still doing things like that. I'm like, damn. And he got terminated. Along with the people that exposed him, they got terminated as well. So YouTube is not playing games. Be careful if you are a influencer of sorts, or even if you're not, just what the fuck are you doing? But without going off on that, yeah, YouTube's not playing games, man. I think James Charles got demonetized today as well. Somebody tweeted me that. Found that very interesting. So, dude went incognito and left the planet. Yeah. Yeah, things are happening, man. I hate the fact that Combined Arms is now a mosh pit, but I guess if there wasn't enough traffic, there was no choice. Yeah, I mean, Fireteam's a mosh pit too with Dirty Bomb and Hardpoint. So I definitely think Fireteam Royale or Fireteam Elimination needs to have its own playlist with like solos, duos, and quads, but I'm not sure if that's going to interfere with what's going on in Warzone. They might not be able to do that. We'll just have to wait and see, as I usually say. But yeah, any final thoughts, Matt or Fajardi? Did we forget anything? Something got announced that I missed? Was there marketing during the podcast? Anything going on? Let me see.
Yeah, new zombies map just dropped. It's called Dead of the Night.
Oh, man. Best map, bro. Dead of the Night. Such a strong chaos map, dude. I remember
That'd be funny as hell if they just dropped it in Cold War with no marking. Like,
Well, Berlin or Dead of the Night?
Dead of the Night.
Dude, Dead of the Night is a goddamn classic, bro. Hold on.
I wonder how difficult it would be to actually bring like those maps over to Cold War, because I feel like engine-wise they're not really that different.
Probably not.
I mean, I don't know. Like, everyone's complaining about lack of content. No one even played those maps, so why not just release them?
Like I
All new
said,
players,
where in the
basically.
actual hell were these people when Dead of the Night came out with no marketing? You need to, like, what do you always say,
Well, you had
Fajardi?
to buy the battle
Does a
pass,
trailer determine or reflect how good a map's going to be? Like, tell the chat what you always say about marketing for a zombies map. Come on, let's hear it.
I used to get comments like 3 months after it was out asking,
Where's
when
DLC?
new- like,
What's DLC
what
one?
map is this?
Yeah.
What map is it?
Yeah. What do you always say, though, Fajardi, about marketing reflecting a zombies map? If you remember, I'll recap it for you if you don't remember.
I mean, I think what I would just say about it is that the map's still released. I mean, everything that happens outside on their social media doesn't reflect how you play the game and how you enjoy the game. So I don't really see the problem. If anything, it was a pleasant surprise when it dropped out of nowhere. I remember I was sitting in science class in grade 10. I was like, shit, new zombies map drop. I don't care if there's any marketing for it. I'm gonna go play it.
It was second week of December, about 2 months after the launch of the game, which already had 4 maps to begin with. So I'm like, hey.
I remember everyone on Twitter was so confused. Like, they were just like, I just woke up. What's going on?
Well, the thing is, the way Treyarch responded to it was like, all right, why not try something different with Dead of the Night, and didn't work. That's how Blundell said it in like an interview. But the truth was probably that the map leaked early by mistake in Australia and New Zealand on the PlayStation Store. So they just said, whatever, we got to drop it. Trailer might not have been ready when it leaked out when it did. The map might have been saved for like later in December, maybe. I don't know. But Dead of the Night, top tier map, great Easter egg, fantastic wonder weapon. You know, the celebrity cast is hilarious. That's our second world's first under my belt there. So it was a fun Easter egg hunt. Definitely a hilarious controversy at that one too. We had one team, which was mine, which had custom mutations going with a glitch, so we had more health. Still solved the quest legit, but then you had another team, a couple of multimillionaires in there who were talking to a QA tester live on stream, which was hilarious. So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of wrongs going on. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but I thought it was so funny seeing the controversy with the Easter egg hunt. Holy crap. Those are some times. I remember beating the Easter egg first. It was like 7 a.m. I had a class to go to that day for my finals. Went to class on no sleep, did the presentation I had to do, came back home. On my way back home, TGR calls me. He's like, bro, Lex wants to play Dead of the Night. You got to carry us to the Easter egg. I'm on no sleep. We do that. We get the egg done. It was hilarious. We get the egg done. And then that same
The
night.
other way around. Didn't you message me?
No, you called me. You're like, bro, Lex. You said Lex texted you that you wanted to play Dead of the Night because he knows I got it first and I know the steps. So he texted you to get me in a game. We did that, and then after we beat the egg, I was like, all right, I go to sleep. And then Amber had a performance that night at her school, so I'm on no sleep yet again. And I go to her school, watch a nice performance. It was awesome, but I was like, I was a zombie, literally a dead zombie. After that day, it was an exhausting day, but such a fun experience, man. I'll never forget. Dead of the Night was a crazy ass launch, bro. But holy crap, man.
All right, yeah, we can't just keep going into new topics.
we'll wrap up there, man. But Black Ops 4, one hell of a season, man. Definitely remember those days very vividly. But yeah, that is about it for this week's Bombcast. We went over just about everything. I'm gonna quickly scroll through, make sure I miss any questions. I don't think. Do you think there's still 7 more remastered maps planned? Doesn't make sense, seeming as we're only getting. Wait, what? 7 remastered maps planned.
I don't know.
I think he's talking about my video where I put the next 7 zombie maps. That was referring to, I think, 4 more Outbreak regions and 3 more actual maps. But now it's looking like we're probably just gonna get 2 more actual maps. And
Wait, why 3? Why did you think 3?
because of the Wonder Fizz, the 3 perks. But then you brought up a good point I never thought of, which is that Double Tap will probably come with the Outbreak Easter egg.
It has to be because
it's been too long since the last.
It'll be every 2 seasons, I guess.
Yeah, or just with every new Easter egg that drops, a new
every
perk.
season and a half ish on average.
Something like that.
Yeah,
this is the first podcast I joined, and I got to say it's hitting different. Looking forward to more. Yeah, every Friday. We don't have a specific time every Friday because we want to schedule everything around our guests. So usually about anywhere from like 3 to 5 p.m. Central. That's typically the time of our podcast every Friday. You can also listen to it on every audio platform out there. And link is down below in the description to Anchor, which then puts the podcast on Spotify and a bunch of other podcast platforms that you've probably never heard of before. Still pending on Apple iTunes. I'm probably going to reach out to Apple and be like, yo, what's up? Because Anchor says they're supposed to put it on iTunes about 3 weeks after.
Yo, what's up, Apple?
Yeah, what's up, Apple? Where's their podcast at? They took Fortnite down from the App Store and they can't put our podcast up on Apple Podcasts. Like, come on, dude. What's going on, man? It's combined.
Move over to Pair.
Pair. Is Combined Arms not popular enough for new maps? It's a great mode. That's a really good question, actually. You know, there's a map called Dunes coming out, which could be for Fireteam. Maybe it's for Combined Arms.
Spoons, what?
Dunes, Dunes, Spoons.
Yeah,
like,
where the hell is that?
Yeah, we talked about Echelon and Dunes like 3 months ago.
I have. Let me see which part of the map that would actually be.
What, Dunes?
Yeah, because I'm guessing it would have to be the judging from the map, it would have to be the chemical area.
I thought of Sand Dunes, like maybe an extension of Satellite as a Combined Arms, but no, I guess you're right. It's probably some.
Well, look at the map I put in my video because someone messaged me like a recreation. They like created their own version. It's like so accurate though.
Okay, that's which video is it? Want me to pull it up now or lost it?
I guess you could pull up the Warzone Euro Mountains coming after all one.
Oh, it's that. Okay, let me.
122.
122.
It has to be the mines bit because the rest is just grass. So like, that's the only bit that kind of could be a desert.
Yeah, no, that works. That works. Dunes. I just think of sand when I hear that name. Sand dunes.
Well, it is. There's images of it. It's like all sandy.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would work. That would work. Recreation is beautiful, by the way.
But yeah, we have mines left. Battery, zoo, but zoo's pretty small, so
yeah, zoo. Yeah.
Right. I guess we have weather station, which has
ski slopes.
Has a summit as a part of it.
Ski slope sounds like downhill.
No, ski slopes is alpine. Ski slopes is alpine.
Okay, I figured they would do an extension, maybe more others. Oh, that's true. It still works. That works as alpine.
Yeah, like if you look at it from the map, it's exactly like alpine. You've got the 4 different like tracks going down.
Fair enough.
And then you got like the stuff at the bottom.
Yep.
But the weather station map would be pretty huge. But
Yeah, I could
the
definitely see that
issue
as an
with
outbreak region.
if we just see separate parts of this map instead of seeing the full map, it means that there's going to be like space in between the maps we just will never play, which is why I really hope we do get a play on the full map at some point.
Right. But yeah, thank you so much for the comment, Daniel Age. I hope it's your name right. Love your channel. I watch all your content. Thanks for all the info. You deserve a creator code. I'll put you in every time, brother. Hey, I really appreciate that. Hopefully one day we can make that happen. I would love to get set up with Activision and promote the game even more in other ways that I haven't yet. But, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up episode 7 of Bombcast. What a crazy episode. Time has flown by like nothing. We talked about so much, and it was worth every minute. Any last words for Jardy or Matt?
No last words.
No last words. And Matt?
Last word.
There you go. I'll input for you. Stop scamming and clickbaiting the community. You multimillionaires out there, bro. Post genuine content, bro. It's not that hard. Have a good one. Thanks so much, Killwell. And last question, do you guys expect more emphasis put on Outbreak or traditional? I think for Cold War, they'll keep an emphasis on both, a bit of a balance. I think future games when we'll start seeing a change, though. I think future games will be a little bit different content-wise. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is about it. Really, guys, can't speak. Really hope you guys have enjoyed. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
See ya.